revenues in fiscal year 24-25, identified by the Office of Commission Auditor and OMB in its September 3rd, 2025 memorandum, which identified an additional $1.925 million in UMSA, $1.272 million in the library district, and $2.163 million in the fire district. The UMSA budget should be amended to include the following: $1.925 million in carryover funding and a corresponding increase to the UMSA contingency reserve. The library operating schedule should be amended to include an additional $1.272 million in carryover funding and a corresponding increase to library operating reserves. The fire district operating schedule should be amended to include an additional $2.163 million in carryover funding and a corresponding increase to fire rescue operating reserves. Fiscal year 25-26 proposed budget should be amended to transfer $13.846 million in air rescue expenditures from fire district funds to the countywide general fund. This will be paid out of the natural disaster reserve. The necessary changes to the operating schedules impacted by this transfer are shown in the package that was distributed to the board, and the proposed budget will need to be amended accordingly. Item C, the ordinance adopting the countywide budget requires an amendment to include an amendment to section 1-4-3 of the code relating to the creation of the Department of Environmental Resource Management, DERM, and the transfer of certain functions from the Department of Regulatory and Economic Resources to the new DERM. These code changes shall be placed in section 3 of item C. The proposed changes to section 1-4.3 of the code are included in the package.
Mr. Chair, through the chair, in addition, I have Commissioner Higgins' motion that she had made previously to amend the county budget in order to reallocate the school zone speed detection system distribution for District 5, which is estimated at approximately $17,000 to the countywide general fund to fund eligible public safety initiatives. I know there are additional motions proffering amendments, and as well as a bifurcation, I believe, of the CBO portion. A couple of commissioners have statements.
Correct. So, Madam Attorney, and I'll get to that. I see my colleagues already waiting. I know this is the juicy item, but would it be appropriate for me to take all amendments up first? Everyone should be good to vote on that, and then we bifurcate CBOs afterwards?
Either is fine, as long as the CBO portion's bifurcated at some point. If you want to go ahead and take the amendments now,
Okay.
that's appropriate.
Okay, perfect. So, and we should probably vote on each amendment individually, right? Madam Attorney? Madam Attorney, I need you with me here for a second. Staff could wait a second. Did you get my question, or you need me to repeat it?
I did not, no.
Should we vote on each amendment individually, or can we take them out jointly, depending on what they are?
You can take them up individually if you prefer, or all together. It's your
All right.
it's your call.
Senator Garcia, do you have amendments to make or motions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to see the restoration of the funding of the full cost of the countywide program administrated by MDFR, including air rescue, ocean rescue, and dispatch to the countywide general funds. Of that motion, and I do have a couple of other motions. Do you want me to read them all together, one by one? How do you want to do this?
All right, so let's
Point of order.
all right, hold on a second. That will likely, if passed, it will take a break. We would have to take a break immediately thereafter, given the delta that will cause and to balance the budget. So I'm gonna come back to you. How about that? Let me come back to you on that. I think an easier one is the one that the attorney's gonna read for Commissioner Higgins. So let's
Do that.
let's do that, and I will come back to it, I promise. Madam Attorney, you have an amendment for Commissioner Higgins.
The one I have is the one I read before for the school zone speed detection system, which was to fund the community-based organizations for eligible public safety initiatives. Is there
Okay,
another
so
one?
Commissioner Higgins moves. Commissioner
Second.
Higgins moves it. It's seconded by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. That's a voice vote, right?
Yes.
Does anybody have uneasiness or
I
questions
have
on
an
their
easy
motion?
point of order.
Commissioner Gilbert.
I just want to be clear because my motion was to bifurcate and recuse myself from this item. And so I want to be clear, I wanted to express from the attorneys that if I have to recuse myself from this item generally, can I actually vote on something that amends this item?
Madam Attorney.
Commissioner Gilbert, my understanding is you have to recuse yourself when we're only funding the CBO portion, as it pertains to individual CBOs, not making general CBO statements such as this.
So then maybe we should do the bifurcation first
We could do that.
It's not necessary, though.
for the people who are voting. It might be.
Okay, so we can do that, but I don't think it matters, but I'm fine doing that. I mean, it's fine. So do you want to just take up the CBOs first?
If that the folks who have to recuse themselves in this item is okay, but I just need that stated.
Yes,
because
you can vote on the balance of anything that does not relate to just the funding of a CBO. So you're okay at this point.
Okay.
And
Point of order, yeah.
Okay, Commissioner, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just for clarification, so long as it is general and not specifically tailored, we are fine. And those of us who have to make a motion to bifurcate, we are relying upon the advice of our attorney, which is the county attorney. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes, I believe Gerald is here, and he has also checked with the Ethics Commission. So you're clear. If you want to go ahead and take the bifurcation of the
I don't need
CBOs,
addition.
fine too.
He asked you a simple question. The answer is yes. We're good. Commissioner Higgins, you had.
Yeah, we ran into this one year, a couple of years ago. How many people need to leave? Because you're good this year? Oh, okay, then good, because we were losing, we didn't have 7, so we had to do them
So
in
we have a
little
motion
baby
by
pieces.
Commissioner Higgins. We have a second
Yes,
by
all
Commissioner
the
Higgins.
bifurcated CBOs, I'll move them. Is that the motion?
No, Commissioner.
No,
Commissioner.
it's your,
Commissioner, I'm running a meeting here.
Oh, okay, no, I thought you wanted a motion.
No, we're good.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
You already did a motion. And there's a motion and a second on the table right now. I know it's early or late or however you want to say it. We're just voting on her one motion. Okay. All right, so just on her motion, her amendment. A second is Cohen Higgins for the clerk. Any further discussion on this particular?
I'm,
Yeah, she's giving back $17,000 of her own. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show that motion passed or amended. Is it an amendment, a motion?
no, Commissioner, you had it right. This is a roll call.
This is a roll call. Okay, clerk, please call the roll. On her amendment?
We're going to take the balance at the end, right? So I think this goes, if you want to go ahead and do the voice vote, and we'll include this as part of the balance, we'll do that.
Of course, yeah, of course. We
Okay,
still have to do
then
the
yes,
balance.
that's fine.
Yeah. All right, that's your only one, Commissioner Higgins? Yes. All right, Commissioner Gilbert, outside of the CBOs, do you have any other amendments or motions for this item? Commissioner Steinberg?
Not at this time. Stay tuned.
All right, I'm going to come back to you because I think yours is going to have some financial impact, so. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Orbis.
Not right now.
Commissioner Regalado.
I do, but it pertains, like I said, to fire. So in the budget that we are now discussing, the agreement that we have with fire is that we're gonna put the money back, into the general fund, but we're gonna do it in a 2-year process. So what we balanced this afternoon was half of the money, 14, is going in back to the reserves. And then at the mid-year, that's my amendment, we're prioritizing fire to give them a 6.923 million if that is available in the mid-year. So that's my amendment. So all I'm saying is, this is what we're proposing to do now, to do it in 2 years, to make them whole for what was proposed in the budget, so that in this budget, it comes out of the general fund. But I'm proposing that if we can accelerate it, we do at the mid-year and we prioritize them. So that's my amendment. So, okay, if you want me to read it, Commissioner Regalado moves to amend the proposed budget to establish a county policy that if any additional general fund carryover is identified prior to the first mid-year budget amendment for this fiscal year, then the county mayor's designee shall include a transfer of the first 6.923 million of such general fund carryover to cover air rescue expenses, and a corresponding amount shall be reduced from the fire district's contribution to air rescue expenses. The fire district funds shall be placed in their reserves. The requirements in section 2-1799G of the code relating to the carryover for public housing, affordable housing, and workforce housing capital projects are hereby waived, and this policy will be included as part of item C and H. So I'm just prioritizing it over everything so that it comes off the top of whatever the mid-year is, if available.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Regalado. We have a second by Commissioner Higgins. And I will open up for discussion now, if any. I will state, I would like to hear from either the fire department and/or Mr. McAllister, or the union president. And for me, my only concern or argument would be Commissioner Regalado, which I appreciate you obviously working this out, and I'd love to support it. But as I've said on this dais before, is I like to support things that we do trying to make peace or trying to make somebody whole if they're comfortable with it. I have been sitting here the whole evening, if not, and eating dinner, but I have not had an opportunity to speak with neither the fire department chief nor the union. So again, I'm happy to support this. I think this is a step in the right direction. But if you guys can both kind of work your way down to the podium, just because if we are going to be voting on this, I would like to know that this satisfies the unreadiness. If it doesn't, I'd rather just not do anything and continue working this through the next meeting, or maybe there's other amendments in the pipeline for this. So I mean, I want to hear from both of you, of course, but I'll start with the whoever. You guys could decide. That's fine. Mr. McAllister.
This issue centers on the fact that
Introduce yourself for those that.
my name's William McAllister. I'm the president of Metro-Dade Firefighters, Local 1403. Air rescue is a countywide service. It's unequivocal. It's provided irrespective of which fire department is providing service. It's been funded since its inception in the mid-'80s through countywide funding. This sudden change in the past 12 months it goes against the ethical considerations as well as the legalities associated with the fire rescue taxing district. So 50%, 75%, it falls short of the law, the ordinance, the will of the voters. So while I appreciate the efforts moving in the right direction, it falls short of the necessary funding to follow the law.
Okay. And then, Chief, I mean, I think I heard, yeah, how short are we falling? Is it just 50% short?
Yeah, 27 million and change, just shy of 28 million.
Well, but with this amendment, what, 14 minutes, so half of that.
Right, so it's,
No, 14. So it's a total of 20 some odd, and this is 14. Chief, I mean, we heard your stance in the last meeting. Obviously, this is a change in an amendment, but what is your take on it?
Sir, Ray Jadala, Fire Chief, and Mr. Chairman, our narrative has been the same. There's no services that's been cut. Now, I know that there's now discussions of an additional 14 million, possibility of an additional 7 million. What we would do is have the sit down with our team to determine strategically what resources based on capital that may be forthcoming that can go in service. But again, that's been the narrative, and we haven't swayed from that.
All right, so I'm sure that there'll be discussion, and whoever wants to go first, I'm happy to recognize. I will just end for now saying that I don't feel comfortable supporting something, even if it's in the right direction, if you're standing before me, Mr. McAllister, saying that it's not where you guys need to be. And what I mean by that is that if we're making an effort, or we're making an amendment to get there, then I want to see that, I want to see that support, right, from the union in this case. Otherwise, I'd rather end it on an impasse and continue working this through the next meeting and see where we end up. And we could obviously continue working together. I know you've been working with Commissioner Regalado and some of my colleagues. That's kind of where I am right now, but I would like to hear from my colleagues and see if I change my mind, given some of the discussion. With that, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I echo your sentiments because, and thank you both for being here. I need to understand, Commissioner and Senator Garcia, your motion was a similar motion, but it was to pull the entire 27 million. But that motion is not before us. Your motion is before us. Is that? I just want to make sure that is that correct? So you withdrew your motion. We're currently only considering this motion.
No, because what I proffered as a settlement to this issue is in the budget because we amended it this afternoon. So that was in the last change memo that came out this afternoon. So I'm proposing an amendment to that change. So I'm not unbalancing the budget. The budget is balanced with a 2-year fix for the
Got it.
problem. And this is an amendment that allows us to prioritize to accelerate the 2-year payment.
Okay, thank you for that. So what is being proposed is what was being proposed by the administration via the memo, but is not necessarily in agreement by our fire union, correct? Is that correct, Mr. McAllister?
That's correct.
Okay, so there's not an agreement with the union, so that proposal is not accepted. Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Garcia.
Mr. Chairman, Billy, if we were to add another $7 million from the emergency contingency reserve, would that make it a little more palatable?
If you were to add an additional 7 on top of the motion, then that would bring you to fully funding air rescue service outside the district. It would come through the countywide funds, yes.
If found.
Yes.
I found it. If we get it from the emergency reserve, right?
Yeah,
Right. There's, how much money's in there right now?
To the chief or the finance director. Senator has a question.
One
How much
moment,
money is
sir.
in the emergency contingency reserve?
One moment, sir. John.
And while we wait, again, I ask that everyone have patience with us during, especially in this item. This is the item where this will happen probably more than once. So just bear with us as we need to move past this item in a balanced fashion, so. That's what he asked. That's what he's asking. That's what he asked.
Mr. Chair, if, David, can you explain how we got to where we're at, so where we're taking the initial payment from, before we get into the other piece of it?
Let's,
Through the chair. We
yes,
created a new reserve, a disaster.
We already amended it.
I understood. We took it from that originally. They asked the question, how did we get to this point? And that is where we took it.
what was originally, and I know the answer to this, so, but what was the original number in that emergency reserve fund?
The balance of the emergency contingency reserve is 81 million.
And from there, you're taking how much out of it?
No, I'm answering Commissioner Garcia's question.
We got multiple
Mr.
questions.
Chairman, 7. The ask is for 7 to make it whole.
So
But
from
my,
this
but my
81
question
million-
was, where do we take the original? Because there's.
Correct, I know, that's what I was asking, but he was answering now to Senator Garcia.
Answer my question.
So, and that's
You-
fine, because you do have the floor. So the answer to your question is $81 million is left,
Correct.
and that's what fund exactly?
Emergency contingency reserve.
Okay, and you're suggesting, Senator Garcia, or asking if we take the 7 million, the additional 7 million from there, would that satisfy the union? And the answer is yes, in addition to the already proposed change memo from the administration.
The total amount is just shy of 28 million.
Comes from another one.
So currently, there's 14. The amendment on the floor is for 7. So,
That's not 28, though.
correct.
So that's why he wants another, right, so I'm saying.
Correct,
Right.
so.
It's all of it.
Commissioner
Director,
Garcia.
Director, hold on a second, guys. And let's try to go through the chair, just to, Director, the original funds from the change memo that we received earlier today, prior to the start of this meeting, where was that, how much was that, 14 million, and where did that come from?
What I read into the record, which was 13.846, came from the Natural Disaster Reserve.
Which was a new reserve.
Which was a new
A
reserve.
new reserve that we created, thanks to recovered funds, considering that there are changes at FEMA, we don't have adequate reserves for an emergency.
That has since been zeroed out.
Correct.
Okay, so that new reserve fund has now since been zeroed out.
Right.
Adding an additional 7 still does not make them whole. They need another, what, 14?
So where did you get your money from?
Well, so what I was proposing was prioritizing them in the mid-year. So what I'm saying is, we're already taking from reserves, we pay them in 2 years instead of in 1 year. And we prioritize the mid-year so that we can get a chunk of it. Instead of putting half of it into the second year, we would do 2/3 in this year and 1/3 next year. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm proposing. I mean, listen, and the reality is, it's the amount of money and where we're taking it from is the issue. So, I mean, I think we will have money in the mid-year. It's not gonna be a lot, but I think we will have some money in the mid-year. I think that we can do 2/3 this year and leave 1/3 for next year. Obviously, the other piece of this is that we're saying, moving forward, the next budget, we're not gonna do this again. We're gonna take it from general. So that's like the second part of this is, this happens again next year. And next year, we're also gonna take it from the general fund. So also understand that next year we have a deficit, and next year we're saying that we're gonna take the full amount from the general fund.
So, Mr. McCastro, I guess the question is, what is the anxiousness behind this, of the unions, behind this model, right? Because I think within this amendment and this proposal, it ultimately completely removes it from the taxing district and brings it back to the countywide. It just spreads it out over presumably 18 to 24 months.
From the inception of the air rescue program in 1985 until 12 months ago, it was always understood that the fire rescue taxing district serves a subpopulation of the county, and that air rescue serves the entire county. It was since David Morris was the budget director, who I spoke to, it was always intended to pay for air rescue out of the countywide because it provides service to every resident in Dade County, every visitor to Dade County,
So no,
not just those within the fire rescue taxing district.
no, I
This
understand.
commission last year spent 7 minutes providing direction before approving the fire rescue budget for the mayor's staff to reverse out of this direction of funding it out of the district. That never occurred. In fact, the opposite occurred. And now the proposed budget says that all of air rescue's costs and its debt service totaling just shy of 28 million must come out of the fire rescue taxing district. So that is the issue here.
Okay, I'm following, but I do need some clarification perhaps from the administration, or maybe you can just clarify for me. So I'm following that, and I understand that, and you and I actually have had meetings about this, and I understand. I guess I might not be understanding the change memo and the amendment, right? Because I think it does take it back to countywide. That's how I understand it. It does fully take it back to countywide, it just spreads it out over 18 to 24 months, but it does remove it from, that's my understanding, unless I'm misunderstanding, and you can clarify it for me. Hold on, Commissioner. I thought that's what it's doing. Is it not doing that?
This fiscal year that's ending, $23 million was obligated on the fire rescue taxing district. That's never happened before. Now we're having a discussion about the upcoming fiscal year, an additional 50% of that, roughly 14 million, is again going to be obligated on the fire rescue taxing district. $37 million will be paid by the fire rescue taxing district for a service that must be funded countywide. So to say we're going to spread out reversing this over another 12 to 24 months is making this issue compound over 24 to 36 months. The fire rescue taxing district needs to be reimbursed for the 23 million this year. And if we were to do merely 14 million this year, it must be reimbursed for the 14 million. So the meter runs.
Understood. No, I understand. I understand it now.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think the situation is here, we're talking about a couple million here, a couple million there. I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind is the wait times that have increased. From the time a phone call is made to the time a dispatch goes out until it gets to someone's home. My concern with not fully restoring these dollars to the general fund, putting it back in the general fund, is this going to lead us down a path where we're going to see more and more increases in wait times? And I pose a question to both of you then. My understanding is that the fire rescue fee is committed to buying more fire rescue and opening more stations. Is that the case? And will that help in bringing down the wait time that we're seeing right now?
There's dozens of units that have been listed that need to be opened to drive our wait time down. Since our meeting on August 20th, I spent a couple of days reading the budgets going back to 1980. Found them, read them. The goal back in the early 80s was to reduce wait times below 5 minutes. We were responding within 6 minutes to 75 to 80% of calls. Somewhere along the way, we've lost that metric, and that has trended up and up and up. And that's whether it's on the fringes, whether it's in South Biscayne Bay, whether it's at Sunset and 140th over the weekend. Our wait times are too long, and there are bad outcomes for people that are calling for help. And this budget has 0 new units in it. We can talk about how units in the past month were put in to service urgently and without proper planning because of the pressure that's now being applied, but it doesn't change the fact that we are dozens of units short now. We need to put more units into service so that we can drive those wait times down.
Mr. Chairman, one last question. What's the wait time for us to purchase these units? Because then that's, is it 12 months, 5 months? What, are we in the process of purchasing new units? How do we get there?
Chief, you want to?
Sure. So, Senator, through the chair, Senator, these apparatuses have been placed over the course of years. So it takes somewhere in the ballpark of 24 to 60 months to get a fire truck or a rescue truck. We have anticipation of trucks coming in. Now, we believe some of the trucks are going to be coming in at the end of the year, beginning of next. But we are, subject to, discussions with the vendor, et cetera. But over the course of, placing the resources, in the specific locations, we continue to place those resources. We've been placing resources for the last 6-7 years, across Miami-Dade County. Typically, we try to place 2 to 3 units, and I know that there was a comment made that there's no resources going into the budget next fiscal year. That's not factual. We do have a unit going into service, contingent on discussions with Miccosukee, but no different than what we did this year. we had two units that were budgeted for this fiscal year. We actually placed 6 units into service. Those 6 units, part of it as a result of either the mid-year budget amendment or the end-of-the-year budget amendment, because trucks either came, from the vendors, or we were able to allocate certain trailers or capital, et cetera. But we do continue to place resources where they need to go.
Okay, all right. With that, I've got, hold on, I have Commissioner Gonzalez, I have Gilbert, I have Steinberg, I have quite a few, but Commissioner Gonzalez, and then
Thank you,
Senator, and I understand we're trying to get full pictures here, but we do have a motion and a second on the floor. So let's keep it to the discussion of what I called these gentlemen up here for, not about how many units we put in last year, this year. Let's keep it on the amendment that we're discussing at this moment. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to touch on that amendment, I think it's a noble amendment, but my hesitancy is that what if the money's not there in the mid-year? I know there's going to be a priority, but that's my hesitancy. And President McAllister, I shoot straight, bro. We've had many conversations. Budget last year that we voted on, funds this year. Did you last year when we had this issue expect for this year to not receive funding from the general fund for air rescue?
I thought the message that this board conveyed in the 7 minutes before the vote at the second budget ordinance hearing last year was clear, that several of you mentioned that this was a problem and that air rescue should be funded out of the countywide. And there was clear direction given, putting one commissioner in charge of that conversation to lead us back in the proper direction. That never happened. And now we're sitting here tonight talking about going to the other extreme where the fire rescue taxing district is paying for all operating costs, all debt service for these very expensive countywide helicopters.
So that's my hesitancy. My hesitancy here is that if we do this again, and then during the mid-year, for whatever reason, the 7 million are not there, and then next year is another tough year, then our delta is going to be, now we're not talking about 20 million, we're talking in the 50s, no?
It compounds with each passing year where the countywide is not properly funding air rescue.
So with that, respectfully, I think the chairman hit it on the head from the beginning. It might be premature, and perhaps I think that we've identified a lot of funding by the end of this meeting. I think, and I want to make it clear, I think air rescue can be fully funded, and I think it will be fully funded. And that's what I want to see. But obviously, to the chairman's point and to Commissioner Regalato's point, we need to find that funding. I am pretty sure that we've already identified that. So this might be premature right now, respectfully. I don't think I can support this right now.
Mr. Chair, as a point of clarification, the budget that is before us
recognized,
right
Commissioner.
now has 14 million being returned. So we are not fully funding air rescue from the reserve in the budget that is before us. The budget that is before us is only partially funding. So I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying, let's be clear as to what's happening. That was the budget that was presented to us on July 16th. We have been trying to resolve the issue. I'm happy to withdraw my motion. I'm happy to do it.
Hold it-
I mean,
hold it for a
but
second.
the point is, we already got half. And look, I can go through the fire budget with you, and we can find other savings if this is about finding money to put to do more. I mean, for example, if you go to page 78,
Commissioner, hold on.
no, there's $199,000.
Do
Wait,
that.
for solar panels. That has nothing to do with
Right.
service. That solar panels have there's not grant money.
Okay, so do you want to amend your amendment to?
Yeah, let's take out the solar panels. It's $199,000 in this year's budget that goes to solar panels and to firefighter. I mean, I could go down the entire
We're
budget.
going to come back.
Point of
We're gonna
order.
Come back to you. Hold on a second. We're going to come back to you. And let's go through the chair. Let's not jump in.
Through the chair.
Chief.
James Reyes, Chief of Public Safety. So our commitment is $14 million, as you heard today, to start off our amendment. In addition to that, the proposal from Commissioner Regalado would add another 7 in the mid-year if available. But it is important to discuss reality today. Despite, and I hear about comments about wait times, and I hear comments about adding units. We added units to an unprecedented number this year with air rescue in the fire district budget. And that is important to state before this board. And with air rescue within this budget and with our commitment to fully restore that cost to the general fund by year 2, we still have $40 million projected of rollover for fire rescue. So when we talk about what we could do with those funds, it is important. That is the reality today, that despite that cost being in the fire district, we're rolling over $40 million. And those $40 million are being rolled over despite an unprecedented number of units added by Chief Jadala and his administration. 6 units added into service, unprecedented across the state. That is the reality that we face today. But we are committed as an administration by year 2 to fully restore air rescue in the general fund.
All right, Commissioner Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. McAllister, and we've spoken, and my nature provides that what I say to you in any room, I'll say to you in every room. I tend to agree with the chairman that I would like to come to some type of consensus with the union, but you all should understand this. The regulations that you say bind us are regulations that a prior commission made. We can rewrite them. There were regulations that existed when a county was a unified county and they didn't have separate constitutional officers. I would like not to do that. What I would like to do is bring an ordinance to this board saying, hey, you know what? This is how we're going to fund this going forward. That's what I would like to do. And I understand your hesitance. You say that we gave direction before to the administration. If we didn't put it in an ordinance, we made a suggestion. We're willing to, and I'm willing to sponsor that and support that. But I need you all to understand that the challenges that this board faces, and I get it, whenever we have fire in front of us or police in front of us, everybody falls over themselves because you can always say, hey, we're first responders, and I appreciate your service. But I also understand that we're in the business of balancing. Like, all the constitutionals, all the different departments, all the CBOs, we're the people who balance. And so I'm not afforded the luxury of giving you everything you want when you want it. What I'm saying is Commissioner Regalado's proposal is not unreasonable. It makes you whole. And we're willing to say that this will be the policy of this county going forward, that we won't fund it this way. We're willing to say that we will pay back the money that we've previously used out of that fund in accordance with a value that we're willing to express, is that we're going to pay this out of countywide and not the fire fund. And I think it would be good if we could figure this out. Because the alternative it's just difficult in a time we don't really need it to be difficult, especially since we understand that everyone on this board wants to actually provide not just the current level of service, but better service to everybody in this county in every respect. Like, we're not up here saying, oh yeah, take longer to reach us when we have medical issues or when our house is on fire. That's not what we're doing. But we also understand that when the administration gives us a proposal that moves air rescue to the fire district and it's a fire helicopter, they're doing it so they can fund other obligations. And so do I agree with them? Not necessarily. I told you that before. I'll say it publicly. I've said it to them. I don't necessarily agree with doing it that way. I do remember us saying we did not want to do it that way again. And what I'm saying is, this isn't us making a suggestion. I think what Commissioner Regalado is saying is, we're going to make a pledge from this board that we're not going to do it that way again. And I appreciate the word and power of every strong mayor of Miami-Dade County. But I've had this position since I came on as a commissioner. I became vice chair, then the chair, and now as a commissioner again. There's no strong mayor of Miami-Dade County who's my boss. This board sits as the legislators for this county. The mayor, as much as I love her and respect her, she has powers that are delineated. If we put something in an ordinance and we say do it, it's her job to do it. And what the commissioner is saying is, we'll say do it. Commissioner Regalado, is that what you're saying?
Yes, and we can amend my item to have more clarity to that. Right,
So-
so if we want to direct, I mean, you can bring an item if you want.
Yeah.
But we can amend my item to say that this board believes, and moving forward, we're saying that it should always be paid out of general fund. And we can direct, we can direct them to draft an ordinance and codify it. I mean, we're not limited in that. Well, I don't understand, we can't.
I believe that, Billy,
If I may, this proposed budget, when it's adopted by this commission, it will be the work product of this commission. And the financial shortfalls that have beset parts of the county, thankfully, through the chief's proper administrative actions, has not put us in a deficit financially. But make no mistake that we are in a service deficit. That if someone in South Bay has an issue in the water, the response time is 30 to 60 minutes to get there. And it's been that way for 20 years. And it's been acknowledged that we have a service deficit there. The beginning of this month, we had someone trapped in their car west of Chrome, alive, begging for their life, and the Miccosukee Indian tribe's police officers worked tirelessly to try to extricate him while we were attempting to respond there. One police officer was overwhelmed. They asked for our ETA. We were still 10 minutes away. We have issues that are along the perimeters, along the outskirts of Miami-Dade County. We have them in Arcola Lakes, in Liberty City and West Little River. For 18 years, there's supposed to have been additional service added there that if this commission willed it today, there would be a second rescue at Station 7 tomorrow. That service was necessary 18 years ago, and as we've densified and there's been more traffic, the response times have only gotten worse. That engine is so often unavailable for fire calls that if you look at the wrong date range, that station doesn't count as a fire station. I just want this commission to understand that there may not be a dollar deficit in the district, but this action related to air rescue is creating one, and it's not allowing our fire chief and our firefighters to solve the service issue that results in a 9.15 minute response time as published in the county's CAFR last year to life-threatening calls within the UDB, which means the response time is worse outside the UDB. And I don't know where the UDB is anymore because it's intersections in certain areas of this county. So I understand the frustration and the confusion as it relates to this technical issue, but the will of the voters in 1980 established the Fire Rescue Taxing District to ensure that the service we provide is not politicized and it's not deemed discretionary spending. And I implore you to find the money necessary to restore the funding for air rescue to the from countywide lines so that we can continue to do the work in the streets of Miami-Dade County and the green fire trucks and rescue trucks so that we are providing the service that the community demands and they've expected since they voted in 1980 to establish this district. This district was saying in 1980-81, we were aiming to get to all calls in 5 to 6 minutes. 45 years later, we are missing the mark. And this delay, because it is not a full restoration of what should never have occurred last year, is going to put us even farther away from reaching that mark anytime soon.
Mr. Chairman, if I may continue.
You still have the floor.
I just think it's extraordinary that a problem that's been metastasizing for 18 years is suddenly the mayor's fault. In the real world, did you actually, okay, so the problem's been existing for all of this time. What we're saying is we're going to actually do what you're rightfully complaining about. You're saying, hey, I don't want you to do it this way. We're going to change it in the next 2 years. We're going to make adjustments in the next 2 years. The problem's been metastasizing. It didn't just wake up when the sun rose, Billy. That's not what happened. And so I let you go, but I disagree fundamentally with how this is approaching it. And I get you on wait times. I've heard different numbers from the chief. He might want to talk about that. The administration might want to talk about that. But to say that to this dais and to this audience in this community, that all of a sudden, you know what, this is happening, and it's happening in South Bay, and it's happening because we moved the funding from the fire district or from countywide to the fire district. No, that's not what's happening. We're actually trying to work to actually create a system that's worthy of what they thought they were creating before they knew that we would add population more quickly than we actually added resources. And so we're actually working at that, right? So if all we're asking is that the union be a partner in that, it's because I would like to partner with you in that. But if we can't partner in that, then I think it's incumbent on us to just do it in a way that satisfies our conscience. Because I'm going to always do the best I can no matter what. And I know that it's handy to say, let's reach into the reserves and I'll support it, but we're reaching into reserves and we don't know what our FEMA match is. Well, there are some challenges with just going into our reserves. We created them for a reason. When stuff pops off, I would like to have them. So no, I don't want to restore everything out of the reserves right now. Yes, I do want to wait to the mid-year. And Commissioner Gonzalez, to your point, if it's not there in the mid-year, I'm willing to address it, because in the mid-year, we look at overages, but we also look at stuff we can cut in the mid-year. I'm willing to do that. But I don't believe it prudent to go into our reserve right now on the dais and during hurricane season. I think that's something that probably we shouldn't do as good policy. And I don't want to create the precedent that when someone comes and says, hey, you know what, you have to do this, that we take all of the money out of the reserve. That's a very challenging thing to do from an administrative perspective. And so I would like to find ways to satisfy this need, to make them whole. But I think that you all probably need to meet us someplace other than give me what I want, exactly what I want, as much as I want, right here and right now. I don't think that's a reasonable request. And so I would like for us to be reasonable together.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, I will go back to those that have spoken already, but hold on. I have Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, I have Steinberg, and then I'll do a round two for everyone that has gone. Commissioner
Or
Cornelius.
it's just a question of where we are.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm listening closely, and frankly, I'm moved by your arguments, Mr. McAllister, and here's the reason why. Because I think we have an obligation to honor what we represent at this dais, and we represented just a year ago that this wouldn't happen again, and here we sit a year later and we're saying, no, just kidding last year, but believe us, this year, it's not gonna happen again, and we're gonna do it over 2 years, and next year, we're gonna make you whole, acknowledging that next year, it's gonna be substantially worse than it is this year. So if we can't find the money this year, how are we gonna find it next year when our projections are substantially worse than the financial situation that we're sitting in right now? So this really boils down to a conversation about priorities in Miami-Dade County. And response times tend to be greater in our agricultural district, way in the south, where we're seeing population boom and infrastructure lacking substantially. So this is an issue that is very, very important to me and important to my residents. So, I'm grateful for the cooperation and the collaboration with our sheriff, and that an agreement was reached as it pertains to police. That same level of priority must be given to fire, period. We must fund public safety first, period. That is what our residents want. That is what our taxpayers want. That is what they expect. So I'm not sure where this conversation is going to go. I am heavily leaning, however, to figuring out the same way we figured it out with our police officers, with our firefighters, to make sure that the funding that you all live, breathe, study, metric, have no reason to misrepresent to us, that we give you all what you need as the top line priority in our budget this year and every year thereafter. Because what I don't want to do is create a pattern and a practice of saying, just kidding, not this year, come and see us next year. Just kidding, not this year, come and see us next year. Read the budget book. Our deficit just continues to go up. So I have little confidence that we're going to sit here in 12 months and make you whole the way that it's being represented right now, because the numbers just don't support it. It doesn't support it. The numbers don't lie. So, I don't know where we're going to get the money from. We're going to be here probably very late. It's 2:00 in the morning. But I would feel more comfortable leaving here tonight, letting our residents know that we're fully funding their public safety on both the police side and on the firefighter side, fire rescue, and our response times. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Madam Mayor. Thank you
Yes,
for your patience.
through the chair. I want everyone to know I value public safety. I would never have made this recommendation if I thought that we were not providing adequately for public safety. I know that we were recertified this year, that we received a #1 rating from the ISO organization, the largest fire program in the country to receive such a rating, and that we have enough money. It's not for lack of money that we aren't doing these things. We're purchasing property as it becomes available. We're staffing up. We've added units. And this response time that is being represented here is not the way I've understood it, and not what got us recertified and got us the ISO rating. So I'm going to ask our chief again to explain what is the response time, because I believe it has been misrepresented and sensationalized. Please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Director, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want everybody just to harp on response time. So just let me give you a couple of numbers right now. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue's response time for structure fires right now is 6:38. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue's response time to structure fires right now is 6:08. I just gave you two different numbers, but it's the same type of response, correct? The benchmark for response times is 1710. It's a standard that we all try to achieve. Not every standard can be met, but there is no true definition, and I'll say it again, there is no true definition for a response time. And what we've determined, even in our department, looking at departments across South Florida, across the country, the numbers that people come up with, they have different outliers, they remove certain things, they base it on their response territory, they base it on a 2-mile radius. There's various things that go into effect. But I could tell you, without any, with full transparency, our response time for fire rescue from the time that MDFR receives the call to the time MDFR arrives, as of August, is 6 minutes and 38 seconds for fires and 7:53 for medical calls. Now, for fires, we're missing the mark by about 30 seconds for the benchmark. For medical calls, we're missing the benchmark by 90 seconds. One of the things that keeps harping on is, the long response times, and I did mention it a couple of weeks ago. 3 years ago, last month, I was appointed to fire chief, and one of the things I did quickly was assemble a team and start conducting an analysis of what we need for this department, what we need for this community. We have a strategic plan. We've determined that there was 13 geographical locations throughout Miami-Dade County that needed to have a fire station, not just a unit, a fire station placed. We moved diligently, we moved swiftly, but we do have roadblocks, we do have hurdles. The cost of land, trying to allocate land. Sometimes people are trying to sell land that's, 5 times the appraisal because they think that we have deep pockets. But we've continued to move in the direction, try to find the land, try to place temporary trailers to move fire trucks in those locations to reduce response times. Now, again, we continue to place units in service. We've said from day one we have not cut any service. But, do we have response times in the outer areas of Miami-Dade County, the outsides of the urban development boundary? Yes, we do. We have extended response times. But it's not as a result of us, not trying to place resources. It's just having difficulties finding places to place the resources. We could place a second, a third, a fourth fire truck at a station that may not necessarily need it. There are 6 variables this department utilizes that uses a program to determine if there's additional resources that need to go in service. And again, I could sit here, I could bore you with some of the statistics, but the end result is we have a strategic plan. We continue to follow that strategic plan. We have never said that we have not placed any resources in service, and we continue to move in that direction. And again, I know that there's this harping on the response times, but I could tell you again, we continue to chip at it. And once we find this land allocation for all 13 geographical locations throughout Miami-Dade County, I can assure you it'll start chipping away.
Jimmy, a quick question on
Chief,
what he just said.
yeah, and I'll allow for some questioning, even though I do want to continue the order, but Director, just quick question, and
Yes, sir.
I understand, and I completely understand actually the different response time outliers and different data points could be used for that. So I follow you on that.
Thank you.
My question is, as from an ignorant standpoint, and I'm serious, is if you were to get one of those, or all of them, right, apples to apples, over the last 4 or 5 years, have those response times with the same data points, not the ones you're referencing versus, call it, for argument's sake, the ones that Mr. McAllister is referencing, the same ones, over the last several years. You could pick the time frame, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6, up to 6 years. Have they improved, or have they worsened, or have they stayed even?
When we did the study about 4 months ago, we still saw a 6-second response time increase. And again, there are several variables, including geographical areas, traffic, etc.
Growth in population?
Yes, sir.
Understood. All right, you have a question based on what he spoke?
Based on what he spoke, exactly. Okay. You said, Chief, and the reason these conversations are important, because numbers get thrown around and we regurgitate and we use these numbers, but you said something that you said from the time you received the call. How about prior to the time that you received the call? Because to me, that is part of the time frame. How long is it from the time that someone calls for an emergency service that dispatch goes to you?
So it does shift. There is an average. We've been working with the sheriff's office. As of the last number that we received, it's about roughly 2 minutes and 2 seconds. However, we do have times where they're well below a minute.
Thank you, Chief, and I appreciate the work that you and your men and women do in the department, and there's no doubt that you guys are phenomenal. But for me, that 2.7 second, 1.7 second is part of the response time. Whether it's your fault, not your fault, your responsibility or someone else's responsibility. And that's, members, is exactly what we're trying to make sure, because it's a county-wide issue. And this is why I do think it's not just 6.7, it might be 7.7 or 8 seconds. This is why we have to be clear with the numbers.
And Mr. Senator, through the chair, you know, there allows for, because Miami-Dade Fire Rescue has priority dispatch, meaning that the dispatchers, the 911 call takers have to ask certain types of questions for medical calls. It does give them, in our NFPA 1710, it does give them leeway and sometimes up to 90 seconds to ask the questions before the call gets transferred.
Chief,
Can I-
thank you for your response, and I appreciate the work that you do, and I appreciate, thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I just,
Where are we? Yes, yes,
I-
because you could respond.
as you can see, the math here gets confusing.
But I understand both.
Understood, but I think that we need to go back to the general statement here. If someone stops breathing, 4 to 6 minutes,
Matters.
it doesn't, 4 to 6 minutes is all you have before somebody starts to go into irreversible brain death. At 10 minutes, the chance of us resuscitating somebody, the chance of us bringing somebody out of the water that's drowning and reviving them goes to near zero. So whether it's from the time the person calls, the time they arrive, it's too long. And that, as the question was asked, that number is trending upward. That's an indication that we are not keeping up with demand and traffic and all of those things. And that's a simple fact here. We just want to get there fast enough to save people's lives.
I think, and I'm going to recognize Commissioner Higgins in just a second. I think I don't want to say the struggle, but call it the struggle, at least on my end, and maybe some of my colleagues, is I'd venture to say the majority of this board, I don't think you guys are on different sides, by the way. I think you're on the same side in a weird roundabout way, but you are. Both of you are on the same side. But I think we're also on your side, and we want to get there. I think the struggle is, and not that different than the sheriff, right? When the sheriff first came to us, she presented, very different, right? You're talking about taxing district. This is different. She presented her budget. And she said, I need X. And then we sat down and we negotiated. I negotiated with her, the mayor negotiated with her, and perhaps some of my colleagues negotiated with her. And the one thing that was never, ever contemplated or jeopardized in our negotiations was public safety. We looked at administrative positions. We looked at, very different than what we're talking about now, but I'm giving the storyline is, we looked at what we needed, what we could perhaps push to the following year to reduce because we do have I know we've gotten away from that word recently for whatever reason, but we did start with an over $400 million deficit. That's a very real number. It's not fabricated. You can argue that some of them were vacant positions, but overall there was a real deficit in the county. So I say all that to ask, and it's a genuine question. It's a genuine question, is if we commit to funding it from the county-wide budget, so not the taxing district, a county-wide budget, and we can amend the amendment to say that will be the policy of this board moving forward, will you, and I need an honest answer, the answer is yes, it's yes, and then we go to the drawing board, but will you be able to spend in the next 12 months the $14 million that is in the proposal of Commissioner Regalado? Can you spend, plus the 7 of the mid-year? Like, will you be able to spend that money in this next 12 months, in the next, say, if the answer is yes, we need to know that, right? Because we do want to get those response times down. And if this helps, like, will you be able to, if we said, you know what, guys, we need to go back to the drawing board, whether it's tonight or whether it's at an impasse tonight and we work it through the next budget meeting. But if we get you more money, can you spend it? Chief, an honest answer. Can you spend more than 14 million plus $7 million in the next, really in the next 6 months, because we'd revisit this at the mid-year. So really in the next 6 to 7 months.
You know, Mr. Chairman, anyone up here would want to say yes, and I don't want to be, you know, not to be truthful. And obviously we found out about the possibility of the 14 million this evening. And we've been working behind, you know, with our team to determine certain apparatuses and places to look, you know, place resources. With the anticipation of the Miccosukee truck going in service next summer, you know, if you're talking about trying to place resources in service over the next, you know, 6 months, you know, I would probably say, because there's also the staffing of the resources, et cetera, you're probably looking at 3 resources at max in the next 6 months, because there is a domino effect, you know, regarding hiring of the personnel, staffing of the resources, because if the overtime gets too much, and then you start having staffing crisis issues.
And I'll say that working alongside the fire chief, I know we can be innovative. We can do more than that.
Okay, all right. And that's hopeful, right? Because I think now the conversation has somewhat shifted, to making sure that we can lower those response times. So if you could do more than that, then we got to do that. We have to do that. for
Point of
the safety of our community.
A point of
and our residents.
clarification when you can, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
yes, Mayor. You
We
may.
have $40 million in rollover that is available to be spent.
That's a
We
fair
are
point.
not building things for lack of resources or not purchasing things for lack of resources. We have the resources. So this whole discussion is really not relevant to the issue of reducing response time.
So the main, and Eileen, I promise I'll come to you in just a second. The main thing that I'm hearing, and Mr. McCaster, correct me, is just to not set a precedence that this is being switched over to the fire district. If we,
Yes, and then by restoring the funding, there is opportunities to open new units with the funding having been restored. Because although there's rollover, there's no units in this budget currently to go into service this year. I know the Miccosukee tribe is in negotiation with us, but there's nothing in this budget that's been declared as being funded.
but that is that something we could work out, because we do have a $40 million, or is it different funds? Like, can we allocate some of that? What I'm getting to is there's several steps here. I'm trying to see if we could find a resolution tonight. Perhaps we could, and we don't leave in an impasse. Is if we vote, and of course any vote can be re-voted on and undone, but that could happen next year again, either way, regardless of what happens this year on anything. My question is, if we make it the policy of this board in writing, on paper, through ordinance, that we will be reshifting everything back to countywide, but again, to Commissioner Regalado's point, just kind of spreading it out over the next really 18 months. Can you, and we put the right language that you and your legal team feel comfortable with, is that something that we can perhaps have a conversation about to see if you feel comfortable with?
Yeah, I think we can have a conversation about it and come up with a plan. I think my number one goal here is to ensure that we do the job we swore we would do. And we don't have the units in the streets to do those things effectively. And this is the moment we had to say, reverse course so that we are properly funded to do the job we say we're doing.
Fair enough. Thank you. Commissioner Higgins, you're recognized. And can
Yeah.
we quiet down in the back, please, staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, so this is a really interesting discussion because we're talking about how we're divided governments. We've got 6 governments when we used to have 1, but we also have different millages, right? And so the fire department, luckily, thanks to the voters, has their own dedicated source of income, which has a little bit more leeway and reserves than ours does. And so I think what I hear from all of us around this dais is we're committed to going back to what we've done, right? Which is a countywide service is paid for out of countywide budget rather than out of the fire district, which serves only portions of our county. Some of us would like to see it come out over 2 years, you know, just because we're struggling to find money for the CBOs and other services. Some of us are thinking we can do it with reserves and get it done in 18 months, and others of us want it this year. But in listening to all of you, Mr. Chairman, I mean, I don't know where you think, it just seems as if where we're going to settle is going to be all of it this year. You know, I've listened to enough of my colleagues that we're going to need to find it this year. The question, and this maybe is for the attorneys, if I may, Mr. Chair. Obviously, in order to balance the budget tonight, if we're going to add money, we have to say where it's coming from. And I think I might prefer the administration between this hearing and the next hearing to analyze where it comes from. Are we able to make a budget change that allows flexibility on identifying the source, or must we identify the exact source?
The budget has to be balanced, so you do have to identify
Okay,
a source.
so I'll ask another question. I realize this budget, are we able to pass a directive telling the mayor to do that? So it doesn't end up changing the ordinance, but she would have to come back with a revised number that would do this for the 18th.
Yes, you can direct her to come back so that the shift would occur at the second budget hearing.
Okay,
So-
and then that way she can look around for the appropriate sources. So, Mr. Chairman, if it's appropriate, I'm happy to make that motion.
Second.
So, well, I mean.
Or that amendment, or whatever we're calling this. So the-
Yeah, well, I would love all that, with the exception that there's a motion and a second on the floor right now.
Take it back.
So,
Yeah,
I
no,
removed my second, so there. I'm doing a different thing.
I said that half an hour ago. Half an hour ago, I said I'll withdraw my motion, and you said no.
I know, but no, he said no.
Yeah.
But now we can do it.
Now
Now
we
she
have a
can
new
withdraw
motion.
Yeah.
She withdraws her motion, and we can.
Listen, this is just the first budget hearing, folks. Like, everyone needs to chill. I know
Yeah.
we started early in the process, but this is just our
no,
first
this is
hearing.
good.
So I'm happy to withdraw it. Happy
Point
to
of order,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
all right, hold on a second.
I have my hand up, but if everybody's just going to talk out, I can do that too.
Yeah, and Commissioner
I
Steinberg
can do that. But so I'm just going to sit here until, but I just noticed that the theme is just say whatever's on your mind whenever you want to say it, not at 2:20 in the morning.
Yeah, no, my kids know to do it better.
So,
than
yeah, so,
adults here.
but if that's what we're doing, I'll do it also. But I just want, just point of order.
You're recognized, Commissioner Gilbert.
Thank you. Listen, withdraw your motion, make a motion. What the mayor just said was really important. There's $40 million in the savings account that if we needed to spend it, if we had to spend it, in the fire, we could do it right now. So they're not saying that there's an immediate need for the money. That's not what they're saying. We're going to change everything because they're essentially throwing a fit. That's what's happening right now, because they could spend the money that's in the reserve right now. So it's not the question isn't whether you can spend 28 million. The question is whether you can spend 68 million. Because there's 40 in the reserve right now that we're not spending. So if he told me that you could spend 68 million between now and the mid-year, and you could actually reduce the wait times on calls, then I'd be like, okay, let's do it. But that's not what anybody's saying. We're literally suspending logic right now. We are literally suspending logic. Absolutely not. We can do whatever this board wants to do, but let's be clear. If there's $40 million in reserve right now, and you spend that $40 million, and you come back to me and say, hey, you know, we spent that, and I want to put some more units in service right now, then give them the 28 million. But otherwise, what this board is saying is, we're willing to change the policy completely so we never have this conversation again. And we're willing to make you whole before you actually spend the reserves anyway. That's what Commissioner Regalado's proposal is, which is completely reasonable. It solved their problem because they're not going to be able to spend the $40 million in the reserve plus anything we add to it anyway in the next 6 months. That's just not going to happen. So we could suspend all logic and say, yeah, you know what? On principle, we're going to just give them all the money right now, or we could let our budget be balanced and do it in 6 months. I get your point. Your point is received. We suggested something to the mayor last year. The administration didn't do it. You want it really done. And we're saying we will really do it. But they're not going to spend, and I appreciate, Commissioner Gonzalez, I appreciate your passion on this. They're not going to spend the $40 million in reserves and the $28 million that we're about to give them in 6 months.
Can I provide a point?
That's what's happening. Please, I yield to, yes.
Hold on.
I just want to clarify something because I was in the
Hold
middle
on,
of
no. Because then Commissioner Gilbert's right. Then everybody, then I mean, I want to get home to my kids too, so I could just go and y'all could chair it. But I will recognize you if you want to withdraw or respond to it.
Yes, here's the thing, and I agree with Commissioner Gilbert to his point about kind of putting it in context. I was the commissioner that made the motion last budget meeting so that we wouldn't be in this place. I was that commissioner. So we're talking about the commissioner who said this had to be fixed so this couldn't happen again. That was me, which is why I tried to bring a solution and why we've been negotiating all this time. That literally was me. Nobody else said it. That was me. So I was equally frustrated when I saw the budget because this is not what we wanted. And I understand Billy's point ideologically, and I'm always here to support fire, and you know that. Now, if we're going to make this conversations about response times and other things, then we should give the mayor direction and tell her the 14 that's in here allocated in this budget. Take it out of reserves. We'll put it back in reserves, but allocate it. If this is about, if you go to the fire budget in what they have not funded, you can actually pick and choose what you would like to do. You can look at their capital plan. It's on page 87. And you can look at the map. That's to my point. You have to buy land. You have to hire people, right? So I want to be supportive. I really do. And I want to resolve this issue. But I also think that we should be honest with people about what we're saying. So if we want to allocate more resources, then let's give that direction too while we're at it. So that said, I will withdraw my motion about the mid-year. We'll deal with the mid-year when we deal with the mid-year. You know, again, just trying to solve problems. That's all. If the union doesn't want it, that's okay. We'll just figure something else out in 2 weeks.
All right, Commissioner. I know you've been waiting too, Commissioner. Hold on. No, we're not calling a question. Hold on. So you're withdrawing your motion.
There we go.
All right. Well, now you can make the motion. She withdrew.
Right, let me try and wake myself up. We need to direct the mayor
To find the money.
to find the money or to identify the source that she would suggest to do the full $28 million in the budget year and have that incorporated into the ordinance that will come to us for second reading on the 18th. Is that
All right. So
In the
there's-
second changes memo.
in the second changes memo? That's my
Second.
motion.
There's a motion. There's a second by Commissioner Gonzalez. And there's still some hands that I need to recognize. Mayor, you can respond to it. Yeah, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we've all established that there really isn't an emergency here. And I will tell you that the only place that I know to take this from is our emergency reserve. And if there is a real emergency, there'll be less there for the emergency.
Okay, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins.
Is it possible that we pull from the same funding source that we pulled from for the sheriff? isn't Red Speed money in the memo like $20 million allocated between 13 districts at the commission? Can't we just give the $20 million to fire? To the,
The statute, I believe, requires that the funds be spent for public safety initiatives, so it would,
is this not public
And
safety?
it's in UMSA, it's not countywide.
it's,
It's a double thing. You need it for public safety, and you need it for, it needs to be an UMSA, unincorporated.
Okay, but to the attorneys, if we as a commission put that money back to the administration the way that Commissioner Higgins did with her 17,000, she has a very small number, but in aggregate between 13 commission districts, it totals $20 million. Could we not all do the same thing, put that money back into the general fund, and you all swap the money out and give it to fire?
I believe that the answer is yes, if you give us, while you continue to discuss these, a little time to research, but I believe the answer is yes.
Okay, so I don't know how my colleagues feel about this. That's not money that we have in our district budget yet. It's what the sheriff utilized to help close her budget gap for public safety. I'd be happy to yield back my money for this purpose, to give it to our fire professionals to help with this issue, to help close this gap. If we all do it, that's $20 million. And then we just talk about 8.
So let me jump in real quick. So I don't know that it's exactly $20 million, but Jerry, Madam Attorney, I asked this question. Same question. I asked this question, and the answer I was given was very clear. The answer I was given is that this money has to stay within unincorporated Dade County, and it has to be for specific Florida statute required areas, of which fire is not one of those. The sheriff is, but fire is not.
Commissioner, my understanding is that there's a resolution that has the distribution in there,
Not what I'm asking. I know what the resolution is. It was my resolution.
But the statute speaks to public safety initiatives, is what's in the statute, with no geographic area.
Okay, so when I asked earlier, why was I given a different answer?
I'll follow up with whomever spoke to you about that. I'm not sure. I need to see what the question was.
Okay,
Chairman, because the resolution confines their answers. So the resolution, if they answer the question about how you can legally spend the money, how we say the money is spent is actually what defines that answer. So it would make sense that they would say, no, you can't spend it that way, because based on what we've said previously, you can't.
But
So it's not the statute that limits us, it's our resolution that limits us.
All right. So Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, when I spoke on this issue, I said I didn't have a resolution, but I wanted us to prioritize and close this gap. If that is available money to close this gap, do I need to make a motion to that effect to see if my colleagues will yield back their money to give it to the general fund, to then transfer out the money to allow our firefighters to have it?
Yes, right now, I believe that the second changes memo has, I'm sorry,
All right. Commissioner Steinberg, you're recognized.
well, if I may, because I guess patience is a virtue. No, it all comes round robin, right? I had the same thought that you had, by the way, and I was looking into whether we can do it. So if we do you have my commitment, yes, from me, anyway. First, I want to say, obviously, Billy, we want to obviously help here. I do believe fundamentally that this should come from our general funds. Everybody pays into the general fund, and this services everybody. I think we get there. The question is, how do we get there in the best mechanism to help make us whole, make you whole,
make it so that we're not depleting all our contingency reserves, because that's something that I care about deeply as well, as I do public safety. So we want help us help you. So if we can do this, which is one of my suggestions, I was asking, if we could also, yes, I would love to do that. And if for any reason we can't and our hands are tied, we could get creative and use that $20 million aggregate from us, give it to the sheriff, and get back the 20 general, back to the general. So we can make it work. So either way, I think that's a creative way to solve this issue.
All right, Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that Eileen has already, Commissioner Higgins has already landed this plane. I don't think we're there yet. I think everybody on this dais agrees that public safety is a #1 priority. I think that we're just not there yet. There's plenty of funding sources that we can get creative with, and I already know that a lot of people are going to be making suggestions. There's FIFA money. There's literally money that we can figure out instead of purchasing. And I think you mentioned this before. Instead of purchasing, we can actually finance. There's a lot of funding sources that we can figure out. We don't have to do that today. I think Commissioner Higgins' motion is on the floor. I would like to call the question, Mr. Chair.
Let's call the question. So all in favor, there's a motion and there's a second by Commissioner Gonzalez.
Do you want to amend that motion to look at all options?
It already has it. It already has it. So it's been moved, it's been seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
No, Mr. Chair,
All opposed, nay.
we're talking about Commissioner Higgins.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
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 All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, show the amendment passed. So in the change memo, the mayor will identify any suggestions to fully fund it. We'll circle back and we'll be in touch. It's a motion.
It was a directive.
It's a directive. It's a directive, whatever it needs to be legally.
So now, can
right.
I make a motion to bifurcate out the CBOs, just
Yeah.
so that we can at least get that part going?
Sure, even though we're still going through other motions, but yes.
Oh, I apologize, I thought, okay.
I know it's late. I know it's late and everybody's tired. Or early. I know we've been here a while and everybody's tired. But I'll have my team make sure that somebody could bring out cafecito and we can all have Cuban coffee and have a second wind.
I have like presentations and stuff.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure. So can we, are yours going to throw our, let's just go with you, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I have the county attorney to read my motion? Michael.
Mr. Chair, excuse me, this particular motion is specific to certain legacy type CBOs. And an abundance of caution, could we please take the bifurcation of the CBOs first, just to make sure that we don't have an issue, and then we can proceed with this motion?
Absolutely. So Steinberg.
Okay, thank you.
Question
going
before
to
that.
bifurcate?
Before the bifurcation, I do have a question, because I do want to bifurcate the,
You're recognized, Senator.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to bifurcate the sheriff and the other constitutional officers, because then I want to vote yes on them and no on everything else then.
What was that? I'm sorry, Senator.
But the bifurcating the sheriff and the other constitutional officers to vote yes on them and then no on the other parts of on item C. So this is why I don't know how that would work. So
Okay. So let's do the CBOs for a minute.
Okay.
And then the attorney can guide us on what you're suggesting. So, Commissioner Gilbert.
Have we bifurcated them yet?
Yes, we have, because I seconded her motion.
You don't even need to do that. From my understanding, the attorney said we don't even actually need to take a vote on the bifurcation for CBOs. So, Madam Attorney, you look confused.
Yes.
Question. Is it appropriate right now for Commissioner Gilbert to read his little statement that you all prepare for him, stating that he is recusing himself from the CBOs? It's late, I get it, but stay with me here.
I'm trying. There's a lot of people around.
Everyone needs to know that whoever's sitting in that chair is communicating with the chair of the board and with this commission, and you have a slate of other county attorneys that can assist any other staffer that needs a question. But when you're sitting in that chair, or either of those two chairs, your eyes and attention are on this board.
Yes. So this particular motion that's about to be read has to do with legacy CBOs. I would need confirmation that those legacy CBOs are not impacted by Commissioner McGee or Commissioner Gilbert's conflicts.
I just,
Can we?
how about I just recuse myself to be safe?
Yes.
I think that would be in the.
Could I just do
that'd be
that? I've been
great.
trying to do it for 30 minutes.
I know, that would be great.
So it's appropriate now then.
Yes, we could do that now, and then we would, if you'd like, we could, yes.
So where's Gerald?
So
Gerald, I'm going to read this whole thing.
Gerald's right there.
Gerald, I'm going to read this.
So this would be a bifurcation of the CBOs that were mentioned in the first changes memo in attachment B, just that portion. And then we can proceed after that.
I don't even know what that, okay. Okay. I request the bifurcation of the community-based organizations and initiatives list included as attachment C of the mayor's memorandum dated August 28th, 2025, entitled Information for First Budget Hearing, FY 2025/26, Proposed Budget. After this portion, then I'm going to read this. I may have a potential conflict of interest regarding the discussion and allocation of funding for community-based organizations and initiatives included as attachment C of the mayor's memorandum dated August 28th, 2025, entitled Information for the First Budget Hearing, FY 2025/26 Proposed Budget. We said that already. I am an employee at St. Thomas University, and they are a legacy organization that has been receiving an allocation for over the past 10 years, and which predates me on the board. And I sit on the board of directors for the Christie House Incorporated, and Christie House does extraordinary work, both of which are nonprofit organizations that are intended beneficiaries of grant funding, and I can't support either of them, even though I have no, I had no say of them getting money anyway. But in an abundance of caution, I will be abstaining from voting on this matter and removing myself from these chambers and going to my office while this matter is being considered. This statement also applies to item H. Madam Attorney.
Yes.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, you're recognized.
Great job, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I may have a potential conflict of interest regarding the discussion and allocation of funding for the community organization and initiatives included as attachment C of the mayor's memorandum dated August 28, 2025, entitled Information for First Budget Hearing, Fiscal Year 2025-26, Proposed Budget. I'm an employee for Children of Inmates, a nonprofit organization that is which is an intended beneficiary of grant funding. In an abundance of caution, I will be abstaining from voting on this matter and removing myself from the commission chambers while this matter is considered. This statement also applies to item H. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there anyone else that needs to recuse himself from the CBO portion of this item? That's it. All right. So with that, is it in order for a motion, right, to move the CBO portion of the item?
Yes.
Commissioner Higgins, would you move?
Yes, I'm happy to move the CBO portion of item C.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Higgins. It's been seconded by? Second by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. And a voice vote is sufficient, or should I do a roll call on this?
It's bifurcation. Please do a roll call.
Clerk, please call the roll. Any discussion on the CBO portion? All right, clerk, call the roll.
Senator Garcia, Commissioner Gonzalez,
No.
Commissioner Hardiman, Commissioner Higgins, Commissioner Milian Orbis, Commissioner Regalado,
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg, Commissioner Bastien, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins,
Or
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 7-1.
All right, show the CBO portion of item C passed. The Vice Chair and Commissioner Gilbert may re-enter. Not yet?
Not yet. So now we can do Commissioner McGee's motion.
Okay, Commissioner McGee, Vice Chairman.
Did I hear a motion to go home? Michael, please.
Commissioner McGee moves to direct the county mayor or county mayor's designee to identify $5.3 million in legally available funding between now and the second budget hearing, and to include such funding as part of her second changes memo to fully restore funding for legacy community-based organizations. If the county mayor is unable to identify other legally available funding to accomplish this directive, then the county mayor shall be directed to identify $5.3 million in savings that can be achieved by delaying the hiring of a sufficient amount of currently funded vacant departmental positions until January 1st, 2026 to accomplish this directive.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. So, Vice Chair, can you just re-explain it? It's late. Can you just re-explain your motion for a second?
Surely will, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we received a memorandum from Yinka, our Commissioner Auditor, and in there he identified over 180 positions to the tune of $23 million. Well, when we were able to do the calculations and divide the 23 million into the 187 positions, I do believe a set number came out of that. What I am proposing is that set number, as opposed to budgeting for an entire 12 months for those particular vacancies that are fully funded, is that we delay just for 90 days. If we delay it 90 days, we can save $6 million. And if we get the $6 million in savings, then that will allow for us to now fully fund the CBOs, the legacy CBOs, to back to their original number that they had in the past. So that's the reason why I'm making this motion and working with the administration to get it there.
Okay, and that's all that this particular motion does?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman, and I've had a great conversation with the administration, and I do believe in full faith that we are going to be able to arrive and land this plane as it relates to this particular item.
Okay, so we do have a motion, we have a second. Madam Mayor, would you like to opine, or?
Yes, thank you. So I really applaud our Vice Chairman for seeking to restore funding. I appreciate what he said at the outset about his priorities: safety, CBO nonprofits, and less government. But, Mr. Vice Chairman, I would like to know, how much less government do you really mean? Like, do you really mean like not having corrections officers that are waiting to fill vacancies, or the medical examiner staff that are looking at corpses, or filling potholes? You know, there's obviously a lot of these positions that are very essential to our everyday work. When I looked at the list, I could not identify much in the way of savings, to be really frank with you, that would not severely hurt the functioning of government on a day-to-day basis. So I am really concerned about our ability to solve this problem. I know there were some additional funds that were recognized that could be dedicated, like the library fund, could be dedicated to literacy nonprofits. I think that, you know, that's an area where there could, it's newfound funding because of the new recovered funds from the tax collector. But as far as the vacancies, you know, we've attempted to describe that it is a snapshot in time. These are positions that need to be filled. We will produce the records of positions that were open for 6 months. There are a variety of reasons why they might have been open for 6 months. Might be a hard-to-fill position, for example, and still very vital. But I am really troubled by this quantity of money. And I also just want to say, you have done other things that will help us get there. You have established a CBO trust fund. Commissioner Gilbert has established a partnership with the tax collector for volunteer donations. We're going to be working on capacity building. There's so many things that we can do and need to do for long-term longevity. I am very concerned that this figure is unrealistic.
Can I reply? Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just for the record, you know how I feel about you. I love and
The
respect
best mayor
you.
in the world, right?
And actually, I tell everyone that, and because we're at so many different events together. But my disagreement with the approach is not so much a pushback against you or your administration. It is a directive from the policy-making board, right? And it is my position at this particular time, based upon the commission auditor that works for the Board of County Commissioners, who has identified 187 positions to the tune of $23 million. And I'm simply saying, as opposed to us having to cut anything, if we simply were to just delay for 90 days, that would equate to $6 million, which means we are okay. But in the event that that is not sufficient to where you would like this to be or someone else would like this to be, that's why I crafted the motion to make this the backup, right? So the first thing is for the first part of the paragraph is for the administration to legally, to find funding that can fully restore funding for legacy community-based organizations based on legally available funding. And if that is not found, then we move to the second prong. And the second prong is saying, relying upon the commissioner auditor, that money is there. I'm only asking for 90 days. I'm not asking to defund anything. I'm simply saying divide the year up by 4 and take 1/4 of the time away from that 12 months to give us $6 million. Now, if that's going to create a havoc, then again, we're absolutely correct. We got the FIFA money, right? But we don't have to get to the FIFA money. We don't have to get to FIFA if we can just simply delay for 90 days. And so that's the motion, and I do believe this can work. I really do. And again, I'm fond of everything you've done and you're doing. But again, this is where the policy board stands up and says, what's 90 days? If we can save $6 million on 100% of the vacancies. And look, it may be, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, it may be that you come up and say, you know what, let's do 50% of the vacancies, and then we find another $3 million or $2 million somewhere else within the budget that has been identified by Commissioner Gonzalez that we may be able to pull down those $2 million. But I think this is a win-win for everyone, because the alternative is, again, soccer. So that's the motion. I think, Mr. Chairman, there was a second. And I would just like to have a vote on it.
All right, so I understand, Vice Chair and Senator Garcia, just because you seconded, I think, you did second it. I understand that there's like phases to it. My only part to the second phase would be, and I don't know if it's already covered and I just need clarification, or if maybe a friendly amendment would work, is the portion of the vacancies, of course, which, and I know Commissioner Gonzalez asked for a whole lot of reports. To his point, he's going to be busy next week. I'd like to do it, and also Senator Garcia, you used this word earlier that I've been using lately, is, it needs to be looked at surgically. So maybe just a tweak in it, that'll at least give me more comfort where the administration can identify out of those vacancies which ones are critical, which ones need to, and by the way, like, the risk in that, but it's what would make me feel comfortable, is that she may come back and say 100% of those are critical. There's a risk in that, but I think but then she would have to show us why they're critical, right? It's not just say it, but it's show us. But it'll give us more comfort, and I think to the residents of the county, that we're not just blindly prolonging 90 days. Again, you're still gonna get accomplished the same thing, I think, but we're doing it in a more thoughtful manner. We could call the vote the way it is without any changes. It would make me feel more comfortable with something that we can identify those vacancies. If they all haven't already been identified, I know we've been going back and forth a ton today about it. Senator Garcia and then the mayor.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate your comments, but I think the amendment, what we're trying to do is it's just a 30 days, what is it, 90 days reprieve. That in itself, in a time where we have a hiring freeze, this is where we are both saying we have a hiring freeze, we're going to hire. So I think that the 30 days to 90-day reprieve answers the call and gives us those funds available to make sure we fund the CBOs that all of us and the mayor and us and we care so much about, and that have a countywide reach. So I think it works, and I think it gives the mayor the flexibility to come back to us. But if you would like that, I mean, I think it works the way it is. But if you feel more comfortable with that, then I think we can go with that, but I'm okay with it.
I'm going to recognize the mayor, and then I'll come to you, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. I can assure you that you'll direct me, and I'll do as you direct, but we also will need to look at the positions that are available in the commission office as well, because there are vacancies, and we would ask you to help identify which ones are critical and how long they've been vacant, for example. So we have already cut my administration to the bone. My office has been cut more than 10%. And we have cut departments in the general fund between 10 and 20%. So I think if we're going to try to meet the needs of our nonprofit community, which I fully support that we do, that we need to work on this together.
I agree, Madam Mayor, and I can tell you, and we've had this conversation before, that at least during my tenure, and I can only speak for my tenure here, we have been as lean as can be under office of the chair. There is vacancies throughout all the districts, in district offices, that can be looked at, if that's the case. And we can absolutely, and we have looked at it, but we can continue to look at that, and that's exactly what this budget process is about. So with that, Commissioner Higgins.
Yeah, I was thinking about one caveat, particularly for some of these things that could be long recruitments. If we have offer letters out to people, we may not want those to go on hiatus for 90. So we need to be a little more nuanced about this, because if we're in the middle of a recruitment and we've actually made offers to people or gone through the interviewing process, to restart that, it would cost us more than it will save us. So I don't know how to nuance that to the attorneys, but I think we can be a little more sensible.
Vice Chairman.
Thank you, and thank you for the comment. And I think I have a solution for this. Once again, the way the motion is prepared, the first half of the motion simply asks the administration to identify legally available funding between now and the second budget. So that checks that off. The backup was, and still is, to delay 90 days. And maybe what we can do is craft it to exclude where there are offer letters that are pending acceptance, and also exclude those positions that are considered mission critical so long as the numbers that is returned is not above 50%. That gets us where we need to be. That way, it gives the flexibility to the mayors, the administration, and it also gets the full funding back to the CBOs.
Okay, so you're amending your item, Madam Attorney or Mr. Attorney, do you want to kind of read back the changes?
Mr. Chair, based on the comments that were made both by you and Commissioner Higgins, I believe that we would be adding an exclusion to the currently funded vacant departmental positions for which there would be a delay in hiring, to exclude any positions in which offer letters or there's an ongoing interview process for fulfilling those vacancies at this particular time, and also excluding any positions that are deemed essential to perform critical services by the administration, with appropriate explanation for each such position, and that such positions are no more than 50% of the total amount.
That's the motion.
And it's still with the first paragraph that this would be option B.
This would be option B under the motion as drafted, yes.
Okay, and question for purposes of clarification for ourselves. Again, I want to be as thoughtful as I can with this, and I know that sometimes, and I'm in favor of sometimes just ripping off the Band-Aid and just doing what we do. But my question is, because I've seen it done before, so I want to know if that's still a mechanism, is we'll give a directive, and if it can't be met, it's a simple disclaimer or disclosure, or essentially in the budget book, but or i.e. in the change memo, that still will take its course regardless of any directive, right? Mr. Attorney?
The mayor could always, if the directive can't be fulfilled, seek a waiver of that directive, but it would have to be approved by this board to agree to waive that directive based on its determination.
All right, any further discussion on this item? No? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Madam Attorney?
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, just because we have the issue with the conflict, if we can just have a separate vote on this as a piece of the budget, so that when we vote on the balance, I don't have to read it as an amendment and Commissioner Gilbert can vote. So if we could do a roll call, that would be great.
Absolutely. Clerk?
Thank you.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardiman. Yeah. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, show this passed. All right, now, Madam Attorney, can we invite Commissioner Gilbert to come back in?
Yes, I think Gerald was going to go get him
If
to
he
come
even
back.
wants
Thank
to
you.
at this point. I don't know, he may not want to at this
He
point.
may not.
All right, so we've gotten through the CBOs, through all the CBOs. We've got, do you have any additional amendments? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, do you have any amendments on item C? Commissioner Gonzalez? Commissioner Regalado? I see all of you doing this. I will get to you in just 1 second. Commissioner Orbis and Commissioner Hardiman. Clerk, you have a question?
Yes, I want to correct the record. I understand that Commissioner Hardiman was a no for the last vote.
Okay,
So that would be 9-1.
thank you for that.
Chair.
Who just spoke? Senator Garcia.
Mr. Chairman, for the purpose of voting for item C, I would like to try to bifurcate the sheriff and the other constitutional officers, because I'm wanting to vote yes on them and no on the item.
All right, so there's a motion to bifurcate. This is just a motion to bifurcate. There's a second to your motion to bifurcate, and all in favor of Senator Garcia bifurcating, signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. All right, now we can take up the actual items. So which ones again did you bifurcate? Fire and,
The sheriff and the other constitutional offices. The sheriff and constitutional offices.
okay, so somebody like to move?
I move.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Steinberg. It's been seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
All right, can you, excuse me, clerk, give me 1 second. Madam Attorney, can you clarify there's unreadiness on?
Yes,
the
is
back?
this for the constitutional officers
This
vote,
is-
or is this for the budget?
No, this is a vote on the portion of the budget that deals with the sheriff and the other constitutional offices only.
Only.
Correct.
Okay, I'm ready.
So for example, the agreement, okay. Clerk,
Commissioner Gonzalez.
4.
Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis.
Yes.
Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Gilbert. Vice Chairman McGee. Chairman Rodriguez.
oh yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Now we're back on the remainder of C.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and this would be the remainder of C as amended by the Budget Director's statement at the beginning, as well as Commissioner Higgins' motion to reallocate the school zone speed detection system distribution for District 5, as previously read.
Okay, so with that,
Happy to move it.
Commissioner Higgins moves the remainder of item C. Commissioner Regalado seconds the motion. Seeing no further discussion on item C, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg.
Yes for now.
Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia.
No.
Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez.
No.
Vice Chairman McGee. Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 9-3.
All right.
Yes,
All right, so I won't delay this, but I just want to say I'm not sure why we bifurcated the last two.
Mr.
Senator Garcia, but I won't. I don't know why we bifurcated the last two. You just
Item
voted no
D,
on the whole
please.
thing.
Can we go on?
So, Mr. Chair,
I'm
also-
confused. All right,
Mr.
Madam
Chair.
Attorney, can we read the next item, item D?
Yes, and if I could just also clarify for the record, the amendment also included the directive for the funding of the air rescue service. Item D. Item D is an ordinance approving, adopting, and ratifying the millage for unincorporated municipal service area operating purposes for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2025 and ending September 30, 2026, and the Budget Director has a statement.
The proposed unincorporated municipal service area operating millage is 1.909 mils, which is 7.37% above the state-defined rollback rate of 1.7779. The proposed millage rate generates revenue to support the services included in the proposed budget, a planned cost of living adjustment, and an increase from the Florida retirement system.
All right, so item D. Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Commissioner Hardiman. I have a second by Commissioner Regalado. Any further discussion on item D? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez.
No.
Commissioner Hardiman. Vice Chairman McGee.
No.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 9-3.
All right. Item E. County Attorney?
Yes, item E is the ordinance approving and adopting the unincorporated municipal service area fund budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2025. This item would be amended by the budget director's statement that he previously read for item C.
Does the director need to read anything?
No. Move it.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Regalado. It's been seconded by Senator Garcia.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to bifurcate the sheriff portion of this item.
Okay, so there's a motion to bifurcate the sheriff portion. There's a second by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. All in favor of the bifurcation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show the item bifurcated. Senator Garcia, it's to vote no, I assume? All right, it's to vote yes or vote no?
To vote yes on the sheriff.
Okay, you want to move it?
I'll move the bifurcated part of the sheriff, sir.
Second.
It's been moved, it's been seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez. Any discussion on this particular bifurcation? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastian. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez.
4.
Commissioner Hardeman. Commissioner Higgins. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote, we're on, yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, now, we have a motion on the remainder of E by Commissioner Regalado. We have a second by Commissioner Bastian. And Vice Chair, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we've heard about the eviction diversion services that are being reduced due to the lack of resources that's been provided for in the proposed budget. So I would ask that the county attorney read the proposed motion or the motion that I am putting forth.
Madam Attorney.
The Commission Auditor issued a memorandum identifying additional revenues in the fiscal year 24-25 county budget available to be carried over to the fiscal year 25-26 county budget. The additional amendments read by the Budget Director to item E included an increase to the UMSA budget by $1.925 million in carryover revenues. Commissioner Vice Chairman McGee moves to amend item E, the UMSA budget, to allocate this $1.925 million to be given as a grant to the Legal Services of Greater Miami to provide eviction diversion services in UMSA.
So, Vice Chair, here's, and I saw the report, here's my only concern with that. And I thought it was more than just the 1.9 that you were doing, but give me a second just so I can speak to the Vice Chair for a second. So, obviously, I'd like to find the resources to fund the eviction diversion program. I think probably everybody on this board does. But those funds can only stay within UMSA, as you know, and you know that. And there's several UMSA services that are unfunded in this budget. Essential services, such as cutting the grass at our parks, where our kids play, where your kids play, Commissioner Gonzalez, where my kids play, where I suspect your kids when they were a little younger played, and Commissioner Hardeman's kids plays. Oh, they don't play. I don't know. I thought I heard you. They don't play. They're serious. All right. Commissioner Hardeman has serious kids. All right. So, you know, we've spoken on this dais about broken sidewalks, the disrepair of broken sidewalks where elderly people can fall, and all people can fall and trip and do, not can, no, they actually do. So I struggle with, before we reallocate this to something else, be it money that belongs to UMSA, and so many unfunded essential services in UMSA, I would just argue for you to reconsider that. We can still look for money for, I mean, I know that we got to get it from somewhere, right? And that's kind of the struggle and the conversation for tonight. But I would just ask that the vice chair consider that and either withdraw his amendment or amend it, but Commissioner Regalado.
Thank you. And I agree with you. I think we have a lot of needs in UMSA, and we need to prioritize certain things. That being said, I worked on the creation of this program with the administration back when the pandemic. And one of the things that we've explained over the years is that we don't have ERAP money anymore. So yes, we provide this service, but it doesn't have the impact that it had in the past because we don't have money to give them for rent. So we're doing it. It's important, but it's only buying people a few months because we can't give them the rent. And yes, we do place some of them, but it is not as impactful as it was in 2021, 22, and 23. So just caution you on that because I think we're at a point where we need to start finding other solutions. And I know that the mayor has been working with the director on finding some ERAP money. So I think, this is something that we take up a little later. I understand the issue, but at the same time, we can't provide sort of the wraparound that we once did. So when you look at what we're actually getting, we're not getting that much. And in terms of placing them, does that mean if we use UMSA restricted money that we have to place them in UMSA, right? So it gets a little hairy. It could get a little hairy in terms of how you use that money, where the outreach is, where the caseworker is at. So at a minimum, I would caution some other funding. But I think we really need to look at what we're actually doing with that program moving forward and what the long-term plan is for those folks.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Senator Garcia and then the mayor, yes.
I think based on the reports that Commissioner Gonzalez is going to get, based on all these numbers that were going to be placed before us, and if we can find those savings and those numbers, dollars that I think we will find, I think we'll be able to fund that program through some of these savings by the next budget talks, and maybe we can help the mayor try to identify some of those dollars. So I think I too would caution and trying to hold open to see what dollars become available for that. So that's just my thought. I'm with you, but I think we may have a shot by the next time.
All right, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you had a previous directive about 5.3 million to identify for nonprofits. And I will tell you, as Commissioner Regalado said, that we have worked with Nathan Kogan, our Director of the Housing and Community Development, and he has been able to identify additional funds, federal funds, that can be used for the eviction diversion program to bring it up for a total of 3 million, which was the request. And I would respectfully suggest that we use this 1.9 for the 5.3 goal for UMSA-based nonprofits. That would be a great help. Thank you.
Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much. And once again, Mayor, you've always found a way to come through. Thank you. I withdraw the motion.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Appreciate that. All right, we're back on item E. And the remainder of the item is now moved by Commissioner Regalado. It's been seconded by Commissioner Bastian. Item E, we're still on item E. Any recusals on item E that we need? No? No. All right, any further discussion or amendments for item E? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Regalado. Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastian. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia.
No.
Was that a no? I'm sorry.
No.
Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez.
No.
Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milan Orbis. Vice Chairman McGee.
No.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote no.
Motion passes 7-5.
All right. Madam Attorney, item F.
Yes, that was item E as amended. Item F is an ordinance approving, adopting, and ratifying the millage for Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue Service District operating purposes for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2025, and ending September 30, 2026, and the Budget Director has a statement.
The proposed Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Service District operating millage is 2.3965 mils, which is 7.99% above the state-defined rollback rate of 2.2191 mils. The proposed millage rate generates revenue to support the services included in the proposed budget, including additional units, a planned cost of living, and contractual adjustments, and an increase from the Florida retirement system.
It's been moved by Commissioner Higgins. It's been seconded by Commissioner Regalado. Any discussion on item F? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
Oh, yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Item G.
Item G is an ordinance approving, adopting, and ratifying the millage for Miami-Dade Library System operating purposes for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2025, and ending September 30, 2026. The Budget Director has a statement.
The proposed Miami-Dade Library System operating millage is .2812 mils, which is 7.78% above the state-defined rollback rate of .2609 mils. The proposed millage rate generates revenue to support the services included in the proposed budget, a planned cost of living adjustment, and an increase from Florida retirement system.
It's been moved by Commissioner Steinberg, seconded by Commissioner Higgins. Any discussion on item G, our library millage? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milan Orbis. Commissioner Regalado. Commissioner Steinberg. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
Vote yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Madam Attorney, please read item H.
Yes. Item H is an ordinance approving, adopting, and ratifying proprietary budgets, special assessment district budgets, and other budgets of the county for fiscal year commencing October 1, 2025, and ending September 30, 2026, as amended by the Budget Director's statement and Commissioner Higgins' amendment regarding the reallocating of the speed zone camera funds allocated to District 5. And we need to bifurcate the CBO portion for...
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gilbert, you're recognized.
I request the bifurcation of the CBO portion of item H as stated in my prior statement written by my very capable county attorneys.
All right.
They wrote all of that.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman? You need to read something. Oh, he's what? Oh, okay. All right. Somehow you just unnecessarily read, Commissioner Gilbert. All right. Commissioner Higgins moves the CBO portion of item H. Commissioner Orbis seconds the CBO portion of item H. Seeing no further discussion on the CBOs, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 8-1.
All right, y'all can come back in now. Commissioner Higgins moves the remainder of item H. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins seconds the motion. Or were you raising your hands for something else?
I'd like to bifurcate section 12 of item H, please.
Okay, well, let's get a second, though. So we have
Second, I seconded already.
second. Oh, you did second. A second by Commissioner Regalado on the remainder of item H. We have a motion to bifurcate section 12. Is that section 12? Is that right? We have a motion to bifurcate section 12. All in favor of bifurcating section 12 signify by saying, what is it? Solid waste. All in favor of signify by saying aye on the bifurcation.
Nay.
Aye. All right. All in favor of bifurcating. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, the ayes have it. Show the item bifurcated. Commissioner Higgins moves the bifurcated item of H12, which is
Happy to
solid
move it,
waste.
happy to second it.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Regalado. Clerk, please call the roll. Or,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, on readiness.
Yes.
This the section where, oh, this is just the solid waste portion? Okay, yes, so I can vote for this, yes.
Commissioner, Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert.
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Emiliano Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Vice Chairman McGee. Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote no.
Motion fails 5-5.
All right, so, Madam Attorney, we need to pass something tonight. This one we thought we were going home. So,
We got a couple other commissioners in the back.
Yeah, I mean, that was 5-5. Oh, okay.
so can you call the roll again on the same motion? Clerk?
Yeah, at least.
Yes. Commissioner Gilbert.
I'm still yes.
I asked her to call it again.
Well, she remembers.
No.
It's got to be official.
Clerk, go ahead.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Emiliano Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote no.
Motion passes 6-5.
Madam Attorney, is that, I understood we needed 7 votes for this item? That's
No, majority vote.
just majority?
Majority of who's here. If
All right.
12 were here, that would, but
Got it, so, because Bastian's not in the chamber. All right.
So should I move the rest of this?
Yes, Commissioner, you may.
Is that acceptable?
Oh, actually, we have a motion to move already and
Oh,
seconded
okay.
by Regalado. Any further discussion or bifurcations on?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Commissioner
I
Gilbert.
haven't really
on eight.
bifurcated or talked about anything that I wanted to take out of the budget. But I think this is probably an appropriate time, even though it's 3:25 a.m. in the morning.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Well, it's the afternoon somewhere. But I think it's probably the appropriate time to talk about the underline.
You're joking, right?
No, I think so.
Bring
and so
it.
it's not that this is the thing. One of the things that I've noticed about funding items in this county is this. You can tell us whatever you want, and as long as it sounds good, that's cool. But then we're stuck paying for it forever. And my only challenge to the underline is not that that the service is being provided. I think that it's an appropriate service. I believe in the linear park underneath the Metro Rail, even the parts in Liberty City, which they aren't doing, because they picked Miami and Coral Gables. But I believe in the underline every place, not just in our more affluent areas along US 1. But independent of that, I just don't think that if it's going to be done, we should be funding a private organization in perpetuity to do it. And so my objection is not to take the underline out of the budget completely right now or even partially. We just need an off-ramp. When this came to us, it wasn't supposed to be something we funded indefinitely. And this year when the mayor came to me with her original budget, part of my problem and part of my initial pushback was, initially we were cutting our parks and we were only giving them a 5% increase. So we were cutting our parks and only giving them a 5% increase. Now we subsequently restored our parks. And I know we're gonna talk about the virtues of the underline, and I get it. You know, they have rich benefactors and they're politically connected. And I meant to say each of those words. I don't care. This is not appropriate. If we're going to fund it, let's us make a conscious decision that not just because it's something we inherited, we have an option. What's the original deal to the administration? What was the original proposal from the underline, and how have we exceeded that, or how we've been deficient? Whatever the original proposal was, I am willing to meet it. But I remember this, and the original proposal wasn't us funding O&M forever. And if we're going to fund O&M forever, then take over the underline and run it as a park. So I just need some information from that. And so I've been talking about this, Mr. Chairman, since I was the chair and you were the vice chair. I've been talking about the same thing. And every year they keep coming back.
Mr. Chair, can we clarify?
Yes, of course, absolutely. But are you done for now?
I'll yield for a second, but I asked a question for the administration. Nobody raised their hand or their voice.
So
what was the original proposal for the underline? That's a question.
So there's a question to the administration, and then Commissioner Regalado, of course, you recognize right after that.
Thank you.
Or you can just answer for them, I guess.
Yeah, they're coming down. They're coming down. And Ulysses is here, so he's coming.
Wow, Ulysses is here?
Yes, Ulysses is here.
It's like you never left, Ulysses. I don't see Ulysses, and he's pretty tall.
No, he said that he's coming. He went outside.
He's coming. Somebody's coming.
Yes. So, first of all, I think we need to clarify what's in the budget, because there's a lot of statements that were made there. We're in this, we went to the state and we changed it so that we could use bed tax. This year, we went to all of our cities and got all of our cities to contribute based on the money that the county was putting in. We're building Underlies Phase 3, and now is where we're going to be able to do the advertising, and we're going to be able to do all the different things and thanking the benefactors. We're not there yet. There's Ulysses. Ulysses, come on down. So I'd like Ulysses to explain everything that we've done, because we have really been working hard. We've really been working hard, and this misrepresentation has been made several times. And I understand your issues. And by the way, I agree with you. The underline should be all over the county. I'm not in disagreement with you. I was the first one to offer to help Hialeah when they wanted to do theirs. And we've had events at the underline bringing everyone from the county. So, and we've shown all of you all the zip codes on all the different people that come to the underline. So, Ulysses, if you could speak a little to it.
Mr. Chairman, just before, and I appreciate it, and the meeting is chairs to run, but when I yielded the floor, I yielded because I thought it was going to be a response to the actual question. I'm not doubting that you all have made progress. I asked two things. My first thing was, what was the original proposal? My second thing was, I want an off-ramp. I get what you all are doing. So if what he's going to say is what the off-ramp is, then I yield for him to say that. Or if he's going to tell me what the original proposal was, then I yield for him to say that. Otherwise, he can take a seat.
All right. So you yielded to Commissioner Regalado. She's trying to get some...
For two specific things. And so Commissioner Regalado, I believe you. I don't disagree. I understand. I have all of that information. I don't need that information. Euless, I believe you and I trust you. I don't have, you all have made progress. I just need to know, when are we going to stop paying in perpetuity? That's all I need to know.
We haven't even opened phase 3, so I can put in all the different tools. All the tools that I worked on for 2 years, they haven't even been activated because I'm not done with the construction. And you want me to give you, you're talking about perpetuity, and I am on time and on budget building something. And at the same time, we've gotten the municipalities to give money, and we're working on the advertising and the sponsorship and all the tools that this board worked on. So that's not a question that I can answer now.
Through the chairman. And back and forth. I just wanted to make sure. So I get what you're saying. So what you're saying is,
and with the quorum, of course.
yeah, what you're saying is, you can't tell me when. Hardeman just gave me a kiss, but it's fine. Yeah, a Hershey's kiss. Hershey's kiss. Calm down. It's not that late, or that early. So we both good. So it's fine. So I get what you're saying. And what I'm saying is, they have to define it. It's going to have to be defined. And we haven't previously insisted on that. And so I've been talking to the administration about this literally for 4 years. So I didn't just wait and just say, oh, I'm going to spring it on people. No, I've been talking about this. Meg at the Underline understands this is my position. Every board member who's called me, and they've all called, this is my position. I need to understand how far we're going to deviate from what we originally said we'd do. And so one of the consistent themes that I have is that, for better or worse, I'm going to keep the county's word. If the county said we were going to do something, even if it was before I got here, I am committed to doing it. I'll do it. Even if it's painful, I'll tell the residents, you know what? We said we're going to do it. The word of the county is more important than anything, because that's really the good faith and credit of the people. So I'm there with that.
If that's the case, then the question should be, is the Underline receiving this year what it was supposed to receive under the agreement? Yes or no?
The answer is yes, but it's not at the full level of what we requested.
Right.
So what did we say we'd give initially? Somebody answer that question, because I'm being told it was $5 million, and then I'm going to ask how much we actually given.
Through the chair, Jimmy Morales, Chief Operating Officer. My understanding is that the commitment of the county was what essentially was a maintenance of effort of about $400,000 or so dollars, and that was the only commitment we made financially from an operational perspective.
You said, I'm sorry, what?
400,000.
Well, that can't be right. I don't think that's right. No, I don't think that's right. So I don't think that's right, Mr. Chair. But if it's $400,000, then I do have a motion.
Commissioner.
But yeah, that can't be. That can't go. David, please.
The proposed budget, Jimmy was referring to the original agreement. The proposed budget has $2 million in tourist taxes, plus another $600,000 to $700,000 in in-kind that's in DTPW's operating budget.
So what was the original agreement with? So why is this such a difficult question?
400,000. The original was 400,000.
Originally, all we said we give is 400,000, and how much have we given to date?
Because a lot of things changed. For example, the security, the requirements that this board put
I
on.
am willing to
There's
accept
a series
that.
of decisions that we made that then affected.
I'm willing to
what
accept
was,
that.
How
But
that
if the
works.
original agreement was 400,000, what I'm asking for is what's the number right now to date?
In the budget?
No, not just in this budget. What we've given to date.
But now you're putting capital and O&M together. There's a difference between
Okay,
capital
so
and
tell
O&M.
me them separately then. I mean, okay.
So, through the chair, Commissioner, it's my understanding, maybe someone can go up, that there was a term sheet at some point entered into that provided for some additional funding that has expired or is going to expire at the end of this year. Stacy, if you could address that. Director.
Stacy Miller, Director, DTPW.
Good morning, Director.
Good morning, everyone.
And you're recognized for an ebb and flowing conversation. And Gilbert, you can just have an ebb and flowing with everyone involved with the Underline at this point. Let me know when we're voting on H. I'll be back.
What? What? please. What to date? How much money have we entered? And this is if there's a term sheet. Listen, if there's a term sheet that the county said that we were going to do $10 million, then tell me that, and then we'll do it because the county gave its word. But I just want to know what we said we'd do, and I want to know exactly what we've done in total.
I do not have the total in front of me for all of the expenditures that the county has contributed to the Underline.
And Yules Clarkley, CEO, Friends of the Underline. Commissioner, we can follow up with you in terms of the total aggregate that the county's contributed since 2014 when the project concept was initiated. I can tell you the current term sheet that we have expires at the end of this calendar year. It set a cash amount plus in-kind services relative to security. What's reflected in the current draft budget is $2.84 million as a contribution for the county's prorated share and in-kind security of $687,000, which is actually the value of the security that currently exists for Phase 1 and Phase 2. That's what's reflected in the draft budget today.
Okay, so no one who gets a county paycheck can tell me what we've spent thus far. There's nobody who can, David, you can't call anybody, tell them to put it in the computer and pull this up. If that's cool, if that's true, then that's cool, but I'm going to have some different requests if you can't.
Commissioner, we will work on a number right away.
Because I think the number's probably available.
And we need to break it up by impact fee. For example, our mobility fees, our impact fees, all the developments that we've worked on, that we've put money into the Underline. I'm bringing more that puts money into the Underline. So it's not all, the county will be a pass-through for some of that because there is parts of that was not the county.
So I'm completely comfortable with that. I'm completely comfortable with that kind of delineation and breakup. And so even though, let me just note that we don't necessarily have to put impact fees that impact that development in that project. But if that's the decision, I'm cool with that. I just want the actual numbers so we can actually make a cogent decision. Because right now, we just kind of stream along and we're just going to keep doing it. And I'm not opposed to the Underline. I'm opposed to having a privately run Underline that is publicly funded.
So can we ask the director how much it would cost the department to run the Underline?
So can I just, we were given permission to ebb and flow, and I am involved in the Underline. I've been involved in the Underline longer than any of you. So we built the Underline, or we're almost done with building the Underline. It's a county commitment. We're going to build a lot of other things. We're going to build Ludlam and all kinds of things, right? And they have to be maintained. And they have to be activated. Otherwise, as you know, any kind of unactivated park becomes a derelict space filled with, all kinds of shenanigans. So they have to be activated. They have to be maintained. You have to have security, right? You also want, part of the idea of having these kinds of green spaces to get people out of their houses or out of their apartments, get them together with their neighbors and friends in a healthy lifestyle, in a healthy way. And in this case, we have the added benefit of it provides cycling and pedestrian access to transit. So lots of good things around the Underline. There are many examples around the United States of America where public parks are run by a third party. And I will give you the best example, which is Central Park. I lived in New York City for 13 years. I was there in the early days when there was crime and it was gritty, and Central Park was covered in graffiti, and you couldn't go there after about 7 o'clock at night. And the city of New York set up the Central Park Conservancy. And the Conservancy is better able to bring in outside dollars. So right now, the city of New York owns Central Park, but the Conservancy operates Central Park and is able to bring in grant money from other organizations that would never give it to a government entity, as well as private sponsorships. And the Underline is bringing all of that in for O&M. Because I can tell you, is Publix going to write Miami-Dade County a check? Is Ken
Baptist-
Griffith going to
Baptist.
write, is Baptist going to write Miami-Dade County a check? So it is likely it will cost us more to program and activate this because the Parks Department and a government is not able to leverage the kinds of sponsorships that this public-private partnership can do. So for me, the Underline functions. By the way, we have outside parties doing all kinds of stuff at our parks because we don't have the expertise in-house to do it. And I am pretty comfortable with this. I don't want it changed. I don't think it's absolutely outrageous. For my district, we don't have a single county park. So there's not a single, there's no green space. So if this is the green space, and so the residents of my district pay a ton of money in property taxes. It's the densest district. And if they get a little piddly $2 million, stuff from the county on a pretty park that we activate and we invite people from all over the county to on, that's what I prefer to see, and that's what I want to see. And by the way, all of y'all that want to build little mini underlines, even though they're not connected in your district, I've managed to do them under my Metro Mover stations, which is driving DTPW crazy with those projects and the Parks Department. But we've opened a little dog park under one, and we've opened a children's playground under another one, and we're opening a connect spot, which is kind of cool for yoga. So these smaller things that are underlined, all you got to do is put the project together. They don't cost that much, and you can run them. The Underline is special because the right-of-way just goes forever, right? So anyway, just for me, any change to item H that takes the Underline out or does anything is a no for me, which means our budget doesn't pass because obviously for however many years, 8 years, if I don't vote yet, we don't have a budget. But the Underline is near and dear to my heart. It has been. It is the only green space right now. The only other park in Brickell is under construction, and it will eventually come back to a park, after they fix the fire station and whatnot. But that'll probably be about 7 years from now. And so the idea of having a place and by the way, this is an iconic structure. We are known all throughout the world for the Underline. We're in every magazine. We are on TV shows. We are showcased. People come to visit us. We should be proud of this asset at a county, and I think it would be, I do not believe our Parks Department would run it as well as this group does, and I fear that it would cost us a heck of a lot more because we would not be able to bring in the sponsorship. So I love the Underline. I'm very comfortable with the small, tiny part of our budget that is being spent on it for the health and wellness and for the resiliency benefits that it brings. Thank you.
Okay, so it's the ebb and flow part. So now this is the flow part.
Right.
This is going to be the flow part. No, I take issue with some of that. So it is interesting that we act as though it won't be green space if the county runs it. It's still green space. I take issue with the fact that people give me this idea of Central Park. Central Park they have benefactors who actually allow them to raise more money. If that was the case, then you wouldn't still be on the county tab. Then do what they do in New York and actually get the corporate Miami and everybody who benefits to actually give the money for it. But right now, this is not zero sum. Right now, this is us making choices between people who have and people who have not. And I love when people talk about their districts and they say it's my district and what I have. I'm going to tell you what you have. You have rapid mass transit that no one else in the county has.
You know what else?
You have Metro Mover, you have Metro Rail, you have buses, you have everything in your district. In my district, we don't have that if we're saying what's mine and what's yours. But I live in a world where it's the counties. And we make these value decisions all the time where we can say people should actually pay to catch the bus, but have the Metro Mover be free for people who live on Brickell, and we don't say a word. And I'm cool with that. But don't pretend like it's my district versus your district. If we're talking about the county, then it's the county. If we're talking about green space, then it's green space. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be green. I'm not trying to pave it over. I'm not even trying to run them out of business right now. I'm asking for what was the original obligation, because I haven't been able to get the answer in 4 years. What was the original obligation? What have we paid to date? And when will we actually be able to stop? That's all I'm asking for. And I don't think that's unreasonable. What was the original obligation? What have we paid to date? And when can we stop? I'm not trying to zero them out of this budget. I'm not trying to amend anything out of this budget. I need those answers. And I've learned from my colleagues that this is the only time that people have to answer a question.
Commissioner, I would like to clarify a few things. I, like Commissioner Higgins, okay, oh, they look it up. I, like Commissioner Higgins, no, wait, hold on. I want to say something. I, like Commissioner Higgins, fully support the underline. And she mentioned a lot of things, but two things I think are very important. Number one, the underline has increased property values, and those property values go into the general fund. And if we're going to talk about equity, Commissioner Higgins, Commissioner Steinberg, and I, the three of our districts represent over 60% of the general fund. In our three districts, we have more turnover and we pay more taxes because of our values. And that is a reality. That is a reality. And we don't sit here and pull it apart. And when we talk to our residents, they complain about what they get out of the county. So, and by the way, the underline doubles down on that because I also pay the TID. The TID is along the metro rail. And it has that's why we can't have an extra tax for the people that live there, because there is already an overlay tax. And you know where that overlay tax? I'm the only person that pays it on this dais. That overlay tax goes to the half penny. It goes from the top to the half penny. You know, that's true. You're by the mover, so yeah. So the two of us pay it. So it's not like the Metro Rail was built and the people that lived around it weren't told that they had to pay part of it back. Now, what people did with that money as it went back and all the other things that happened after, we're not saying that vehicles were not created. So I understand your frustration, but also understand that it is helping the overall system, and it is creating something that is allowing more people to use transit, is drawing people to transit, is changing the face of that area. It is. The underline is bringing more people to that area, raising the values of those areas. If you go into my neighborhood right now and you Google Zillow, if you go into our zip code, the first thing that you will see is the apartment, the size of it, the number of bedrooms and the bathrooms, and then it'll say the underline. That's the first thing they'll tell you, that this is this far from the underline in every single listing. And now they put the picture of the underline in the listing, even if it's 4 blocks away from the underline. And those of us that live there know that you would have to walk 5 or 6 blocks to get to the underline. That's what they're selling in these areas. And that has value to the entire system because property values are raising, to her point, because now people have a green space that they can enjoy. And they did not have that before. They didn't have it before. And it doesn't have to be to the exclusion of anyone else.
But it is. But it is. But it is to the exclusion of someone else. Like, we're acting as though it's not an actual value statement. You're acting as though in your district and in her district, you are acting as though we can do all those things. And that's just simply not true.
We can show you the zip codes of how many people all over the county
I didn't interrupt you. I'm just going to tell you that that's not true. And so I think it's always interesting in conversations to listen, and this is to my colleagues, not anyone in the audience. They could all disappear. This is to you all. Always listen when people don't actually answer the question. I've been asking the same question for 4 years. I ain't got an answer yet. And everything that everyone has said in defense of the underline has not responded to the actual question. There is inherent inequity. It is inherent. And we sit here and we do nothing. And all I'm asking for is a timeline for us to do something. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking to change the Metro Rail or the mover. I'm not asking for any of those things. I'm asking for a timeline. That is what I'm asking for, a timeline, because they could have started the underline and taking it through Liberty City and Allapattah, but they didn't. In the real world, they chose to put it in a very specific place. The same places where we have everybody has everything. So I hear my colleagues out west and in the South all the time. You all don't think I hear you, but I hear you. You aren't the only ones that were left out. Miami Gardens just incorporated and did stuff. Like we forced the county's hand. The county said, don't incorporate. We did it anyway. They said, you're going to have to, we did it anyway. Let's go. Because we didn't feel like we were having the services that everybody else was getting in the central part of the county. This is that. And we make these decisions casually all the time. And all I'm asking for, and maybe now Jimmy can answer the question, is what was the original obligation of the county?
Okay.
What have we spent to date?
Chair.
Chief Morales.
The answers I have been given based on the information that we have in our fingertips here. The original obligation was $400,000 a year for operational. Number two, to date we have paid $7.5 million.
Hold on 1 second, Chief Morales, because I think he's looking, if I'm not mistaken, Commissioner, he's looking more for like a full picture timeline, right? So $400,000 a year in perpetuity?
No, I don't. I believe that the current agreement expires at the end of this year.
No, it goes on for 15. It goes on for multiple years after this.
Okay. Once again, this is Commissioner Gilbert's frustration.
I understood.
I'm
frustrated.
he wants a full picture, a full snapshot. I'm gonna go to Commissioner Hardiman and then Commissioner Cohen-Higgins.
But Chairman, I mean, they haven't answered.
Well, you still have the floor technically, but they don't have the answer. They don't have the answer.
They don't have, that is impossible.
But they don't have the answer. Not tonight, at least. They don't. They're trying
They
to.
haven't had the answer for 4 years?
They're trying to compile it.
Okay, so maybe she's right. I just need the answer.
All right. So would you like Euless to give it a shot?
Yes, please. I just want the answer.
So there was an original agreement that priced the maintenance effort based off of what was there previously, which was gravel and grass.
Okay.
So that amount, the $400,000 that the chief is mentioning, is relative to that estimated payment to take care and maintain what was there previously. I can tell you what is there now because everybody has seen it. We have 500,000 trees. All these are mini areas. We get it. Right now, the way that this is set up, public-private partnership, our estimate is that we can do it at a third less of the cost that if the county were to take it over. Secondly, we've had 2 different studies that talked about the increase in residential premiums and value across the corridor and economic impact on an annual basis. It's $50 million worth of economic impact and $928 million worth of residential premiums along the corridor. And the last thing is that for the past 18 months, we have increased private fundraising by 400%. We have secured multi-year agreements with the City of Miami, the City of South Miami, and we are about to move forward with a long-term agreement with the City of Coral Gables. So that's just a starting point. We completely agree that the future of the Underline has to be one that is self-sustaining. We understand that. So as Commissioner Regalado made mention of, the tools that are available, which haven't been unlocked yet, are going to generate additional revenue. We're focused on making sure that we are using every single opportunity to monetize the park so we don't have to keep coming back as a part of this annual budgetary process and ask for additional commitment from the county. That is our goal. We need to be self-sustaining, and we truly feel confident that if we have the ability to do so, we'll allay some of the concerns when it comes to having an additional burden on the counties.
So now that's helpful. So now my question is, Jess, not an aggressive timeline. Give this board a reasonable timeline. I'm not trying to say get off the county tab right now.
We can give it to you once we finish building. Once we finish building and we operate for a year, we can give you a timeline. We don't know. We have tools and we have things that we have projections for, but we haven't physically done them. So you have to let us finish building it and then give us a year to effectuate those tools so that we can tell you, okay, this is what we need. and if we need more.
So no, respectfully, this board doesn't have to let you know that.
But if you want,
This board could end the funding right now. But that's not my goal. So I've been around just long enough to know that an open-ended timeline as a goal is
not an
not, in
open-ended.
fact, yeah. So
when do we finish construction on 3?
It'll be summertime of 2026.
So summertime of 2026, all of it is built. So what
Okay.
I'm saying is allow us to build all of it because it's currently in pieces as we build phase 3. And then give us a year where we put all the Ike signs up, where we have the banners up, where we have the activations. Give us a year, a full year of the utility of it, and then we can bring you some actual numbers.
So 28, 29. So if we said we're going to fund you at the current level based on whatever the CPI, the other increases until 28, 29.
And then we'll bring you back.
No.
Plan.
And then we want you gone. We'll fund it with no questions. I think you all take for granted that I'm actually a kid who used public transit. I'm very familiar with the Underline. I like what you've done, but I don't think that trees grow greener because private people planted them. I think that our parks department, I've been in our parks in my district, they have green trees also. And if the parks department was running it, Zillow would still take pictures and put it in the listings also.
No, actually.
So I don't know because they have our public parks in their listings now. So I'm not trying to get rid of the Underline. I'm not trying to defund the Underline. I want some certainty about when we get to go back to the agreement. Because far too often, we ignore agreements in this county in a very dangerous way. Make people do what they said they were going to do and do what you said you were going to do. We see it all the time with change orders. We see it all the time, and we just keep doing it. And this is one of those frustrations that it literally took me 4 years in a budget hearing to get an answer to this because everyone wants to just do it. And I'm just saying that's not okay. That is not okay. I haven't pulled anything to try to kill anything or pull anything out of budget. I'm not doing that now. I respect the mayor, her budget. I disagree with this on principle, and I disagree for little kids in areas that they could have built the Underline through Alapata where they didn't. They chose Coral Gables in South Miami, the city of Miami. They chose areas that already had everything. And this board in the past said, oh, it's okay, it's cool. It's not cool with me. And so if it means a no vote on everything, sure, Commissioner Higgins, I respect your decision to vote no if we don't do it. You can't have my vote on this without actually a real timeline attached to this. I need a timeline on
The
this.
county agreement is until 2030. Confirmed.
So 2030.
That is until that is the
What are we obligated for until 2030?
That's the maintenance of
the maintenance of effort, right? I'm saying that's
Maintenance of
the maintenance of effort is until
The
2030.
maintenance effort would have been $400,000, right? Or the CPI of $400,000. But we're giving 2 point whatever million, so we're clearly not doing that. So I'm not going to hold you to that. I'm not holding you to the maintenance of effort. I'm not trying to be onerous. I'm not trying to hold you to the maintenance of effort, the original. I want to know the time, the money that we're allocating right now, increase for CPI through the end of the agreement, and then we're done. That's all I want. So you all you want to fight about this, but really, if I wanted to fight, my motion would be, I move that we remove the Underline from the budget.
Second.
And I could get a second for that. I'm not trying to do that. That's not what I want. I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to fight. I just want a timeline. A real timeline, y'all. And then I want us to stick to it. Give me a timeline and then just stick to it. That is not unreasonable.
I just want Metro Mover. That's all I want.
No, bro, we ain't getting there yet.
My district pays the half penny, and we got we don't even got a little trolley.
We pay half penny, and we have to use our CITT money to have a trolley. Like, but okay, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Just
Commissioner Gilbert,
give me a timeline, please.
we can come back to you, but Commissioner Hardiman.
You know, this conversation just when I think about what community redevelopment agencies mean to Miami-Dade County and how much fight and pushback there is from this board and has historically been from this board regarding CRAs, it makes me wonder. Because here, Commissioner Gilbert described how the areas that had everything got more of the thing, right? And so, of course, you do this and it enhances property values. I mean, you've articulated that pretty well. Property values, it now becomes a destination for the area. It was already a destination, but but now you can come to the Underline, and it really makes me think about places that are down the street. Overtown is down the street. You can walk there, but none of you would do it in the past. And so, to watch the enhancements that have occurred because of the strategic investment in a place that was undesirable for many people. And remember, it was only undesirable because someone decided to put a highway through it. And so once they did that, right, it destroyed the property values, it destroyed the area, and it put it in a position where it was a perpetual slum. And so now, right, we have some redevelopment efforts there. They decide to put some billions of dollars to lift the highway up a little bit. And they want to put something similar to the Underline under it. Our dear president, he defunded that. This is like $60 million that he was giving us to help make that a beautiful area to walk from one space to the next. That would have added green space and play space and private management and businesses and things of that nature. And so it's so interesting to me because here we have it, there we do not. 22nd Avenue is what you described when you're talking about what could be the Underline that goes through Alapata and through Liberty City. It teeters our district. And I routinely drive by there. On my phone, I can pull up for you right now. I look at the Shanghai blue lights under their expressway because I'm like, we have to do something. Something. Because it has nothing. And it has enough space for bike paths. It has enough space for walking paths. It has enough space certainly for trees and green like foliage and stuff. But we just don't do it. And so, I'm empathetic to the argument that Commissioner Gilbert makes because he's right. Where I live at, we've already had over the past maybe 10 years, we've had like 250, 300% increase in property value. We've had vacant lots that have been vacant that would have been vacant for 25, 30 years are now being developed in places where I live, where they've had riots, right? And so that tells you that there's a desire to move into these spaces. Now, should investment in the infrastructure in the area and making the area look better, should that follow that? And so, look, I love what's happening there. I wish you had chosen to do it in our area as well. Maybe you all don't think that. Well, it's not you all. I don't want you to think of it. But maybe people don't believe that areas that you consider to be undesirable don't like nice things. But I can assure you that they do. I can assure you that the people would rather have free transportation, on our buses and things of that nature. I grew up taking jitneys. I mean, it was a better, more reliable transportation for us. And sometimes you can get away without paying anything. If you know, you know.
Don't worry, Hardiman. Statute of limitations have run.
Yeah, exactly. So those it's incredibly frustrating because to me, and part of the reason I actually when I became a commissioner in Miami, when I moved back down, Oliver, from Tallahassee, and I was working for Pfizer. I tried to live in my neighborhood, but at 24 years old, with an MBA, I didn't find it desirable to live in a 1929 built house that was unrenovated for, 70 years. So I was looking for these new apartment buildings. They had built these new apartment buildings in the area that I was raised in. And when I came back down to go to those apartment buildings, they told me I couldn't rent there. And I was like, I don't understand. Why can't I rent there? They was like, well, it's income restricted. And I was like, okay, so how does that work? The more you make, the more you pay. Okay, so charge me more, because these were very nice buildings. I grew up in garden-style apartments. Started in the projects, moved on up to the garden-style apartments, right? And what I learned was that there was something of this new concept called low-income housing. And so even if you did get an education and come back to your neighborhood and you made some money, you couldn't live there. You could not move back into your neighborhood for that, which is why when I became a commissioner, I started pushing for higher income sort of affordable housing, right? When you're talking about 80%, 100%, 120, but everything was like extremely low income. The commissioners that were here in these seats before, in the city and in the county, they pushed for ELI dramatically. And we already had a bunch of public housing. That's what I grew up in. That was the cheapest that you can get. And so I said it to you to say that I watched decades of leadership pour the most undesirable housing in one area over and over and over and over again. Not one of them, you can't think of a commission that gave you more than that during those times. Not one of them said, maybe we should build some transportation that made sense. It's just something that enhanced some sort of economic development, shopping center, change the zoning, give me a 24-hour entertainment area, just something. And so I know it's 4 a.m. I know it's 4 a.m. But I will say this. People in Liberty City like nice things too. People in Little Haiti like nice things too. People in Alapata like nice things too. People in Biscayne Gardens like nice things too. Let's not wait until most of the housing is unaffordable to the people that are there before we start to give them nice things. So when I bring to you items that try to enhance and give advantages to these spaces for the existing residents that are there, to be able to make some money, to be able to attract entertainment, to be able to have better transportation, to do what you already have, what you're enhancing your property values with in these finer areas, just know that these other areas deserve the same enhancement. They may even deserve more resources because historically you didn't give it to them, and that's why the CRAs matter, right? So it's interesting to hear a conversation where it took so long to find the year that this agreement ends, but I guarantee you most of you know exactly when the CRAs end. I know you know the year. I know that once the CRA was created, I know you started doing what do they call it? The sharing agreement. Remember that? Take more money. And then the other agreement that takes the 10 highest property values in the Southeast Overtown Park West area, and we want to claw that back. You got sharing agreement. You had to claw back. Mr. Claude Feather, this is before you became in that seat, but I think it was Ed Marquez was in your seat when I was in the city of Miami, and we were bonding, and they were threatening to sue us, and we did it anyway, and then they had to issue us a letter within a couple of days. You probably might have drafted the letter because you were working, but anyway. But basically, from the city, we fought tooth and nail just to have and keep investment in the space. We need to stop that. If we're going to continue to, if we want Miami-Dade County to be better, we need to invest in the Underline, yes, but also in enhancing spaces that the Underline could be, and enhancing areas where we could have greater investment, because if we could do that, maybe then we can solve some of our problems. And I don't understand what's so difficult about this Metro Mover thing. Tie it to the bus, to our bus passes, and it's paid for, right? If you're a Metro Mover user,
Sorry, I meant Metro Connect. I know I said Metro Mover, but I meant Metro.
but we mean that too. And I'm talking about the Metro Mover. We want it all. So my point is that as Oliver Gilbert said, just make it equitable. We just want a little equity.
I just got information from the auditor that our commitments to the Underline through all of their phases, and this can't be right, I'm sure there's like a mistake, is $135 million. Our commitment to build out the Underline is $135 million through all the phases. And so I know that can't be right, because if that's right, we have to have a longer meeting.
All right, so
That can't be right. So I just, but speaking to what Commissioner Hardeman said, he's right. And I just want to point out something that at our last meeting, I said that I talked about the CRA and Vice Chairman McGee's area, and I said I'm going to support it anyway. And the reason why I supported it is because he's trying to change his area. And I said it then, but you all might not have caught it. The county didn't do it. It was our ongoing obligation. Like, it's an indictment on all of the people who served, not just on the commissioners in that area, that it looked that way. It was never supposed to remain that way. He had to bring a CRA to fix something.
But Commissioner Gilbert,
I knew
the Underline, there used to be homeless people in the M-Pass.
Oh, okay,
We
and
grew
so
up with
it's the
homeless
same
people in
metric
the
then.
M-Pass.
It's the same metric. I'm not saying don't change it. I'm saying, why are we paying? And I'm just asking what the actual obligation is. Now, if Yinka and the Auditor General's office is right, and our commitment through the end of phase 3 is $135 million, we need to have a separate committee of the whole to ask how we got there. Because that's money we can use, like, that's really the haves getting a lot more as opposed to the have-nots. And so I hope that's not right in my spirit. Like, in my spirit, I don't want that to be right. In my spirit, all I want is to give you the same amount of money you're getting this year from the county until you tell me that we can stop. That's all I want. And I will tell you, for anyone who's watching and for everyone who's going to play this back later, it's only because of my respect for Commissioner Regalado and Commissioner Higgins. Otherwise, I'd be making a motion, like, I'm frustrated enough to try to zero out the Underline.
all right.
But I understand their passion and how sincere and how hard they worked. But y'all, this ain't right. This is not right. And, you know, I get it. They have nice sneaker balls and all that stuff. But nothing's going to make me think this is right.
Air Force One, Vice Chairman, Senator Garcia, and then Cohen Higgins.
So, wow, how do I unpack this, Commissioner Hardeman and Commissioner Gilbert? I said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's 4:15. The fact of the matter is, the quickest way to sink a community, and particularly those in the South or those that are in the urban corridor, is to restrict mobility. It's to give them a less than equal form of transportation. It is no secret that the half-cent tax that was given to us years ago was told that it was going to be used to beautify the entire community of the South Dade area. Here we are at this very moment stuck with buses. And the very half-cent tax that those of us in the South have been paying for so long are actually funding free rides on the Metro Mover. And many of us in the South are still walking. And so when you talk about equity, it may sting a little bit, but it's the type of conversation that needs to be had. We don't have the Metro Rail, but we own the right-of-way in the South Dade community. We don't have the Metro Rail, but yet we're still paying for something that was promised to us. If we had the Metro Rail, I can almost assure you that the quality of life would be different for those of us in the South. I can almost assure you that the amount of money that we're paying in gas and the amount of time we're spending 2 hours to get to Miami Beach or downtown Miami to make beds as housekeepers and maids or security guards to guard nice homes and places outside of the South. If we had Metro Rail, I can assure you that the quality of life would not only increase because of the speed of transportation in this form of mobility, but it would do what Commissioner Hardiman talked about. It would make you want to move down south, bring your tax dollars, increase our tax impact, and then that would in and of itself increase the grades levels that are given to the grades that are given to our schools. We know that for a fact that in Miami-Dade County, when you're talking about equity, 3 areas in this county pay at least 60% of the property taxes. But it appears that they get 100% of the benefit. It was never made for us to sit here and highlight what happens in one district over another, because we all talking about the county commission. We talk about Miami-Dade County as a whole. But it does make you ask questions. At what point do we reevaluate what we've done in the past to try to cure the impact that it's had on these communities? So I'll just wrap up and say this. The South does have something to say. And what the South is saying is, number one, give us the damn rail. I don't support the BRT. I never have and I never will, because the BRT is just another form of a bus that's dressed up. And I know people are going to tell me, well, at least it's something, but we didn't vote for something. We voted for a damn rail. And if we can't get the rail, then stop taking our half cents. And if you can't give us the rail, then at least tell us that you're willing to convert that bus that's dressed up, that looks like a rail, but it's really not a rail, and we tell everybody it's a rail, but those of us in the South, we know it's not a rail. At least tell me when we're going to convert that thing into the rail. I do believe we can convert that. And if you can't convert it, then give us the money to put it on the CSX lines and allow for us to have Brightline to run south, or Tri-Rail to run south, or get somebody to operate it to get the people out of the South so that they can explore great things also, but also move people down south so that they can bring money in a tax base. So those are my comments, and thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Senator Garcia.
Just wanted to tell Commissioner Regalado that the only reason that you're able to build this out is because I was one of the original sponsors for this legislation, and that's why you're able to build it out. But the reality is that Commissioner Gilbert is it's my fault, yes. Listen, this is because of Megan's father, Parker, God rest his soul, who had a vision and was able to bring people together. But there's something to say to Commissioner Gilbert's questions, that there's a constant problem with this administration trying to get information to us. It's simple. What was a commitment that was made by the county, and where are we in the timeline? And I think you should also include the state dollars that were also part of this whole big project to make sure that it is done. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, Commissioner Regalado, that because I got the original sponsorship of this, you now can build it out. So,
Would anyone like me to move item H?
Second.
Yeah, I've got a motion by Commissioner Higgins. You had a motion? What was your motion? Wait, you had a motion?
Well, yeah, so, I mean, this all started with, I moved that we get a timeline on how long we have to fund before we actually do this. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm telling you all right now that this is how people will be, you all act like we did the right thing, but it's the small inequities that build large gaps. And that's what's happened. And I really do apologize because it's 4:22 in the morning. But it is literally disgusting that I could not get this information independent of holding up a budget meeting. I disagree with this. We spent millions before. Commissioner Regalado, you say you need time. That's fine. Tell me the time. Give me the horizon. Tell me how it ends. Because the original agreement that they came to us with, that's clearly out of the window now. Because that was $400,000 maintenance of effort. Okay, that's done. We're not doing that anymore. But don't tell me that we're using money that could go to other places there in perpetuity. Don't make me vote on that again. And so I just need us to have some finality to this. And I get that you all want to just keep the status quo, but some people don't eat on the status quo. Like some people don't benefit. Commissioner Hardeman's right. Our districts, and we want nice stuff too.
And one of the things that we've been talking about is expanding the Underline. And that's why we've been bringing different municipalities to come and see the Underline. And we've offered to help municipalities with the Underline, including Hialeah, including a group that we brought from Miami Gardens to talk about the Underline. We're doing that. And by the way, I feel your frustration. It took 4 years I was asking for the numbers for Metro Connect. And I still don't have the numbers for Metro Connect. They still don't make sense. We're fixing it. I understand. But that doesn't change the frustration. How many meetings did I go to that I asked for the numbers? How many times did I send something in writing? How many times did I meet with the vendor? And it took us saying we're not going to fund it for me to get the numbers of how much Metro Connect was costing.
That's why I'm saying we're not going to fund it unless you give me the horizon.
So, but
That's why I'm saying that. That's exactly why I'm saying that.
No, wait a second. What I'm telling you is, if you allow us to build it, first of all, we're already working on our strategic master plan. That's already part of what we're doing. If you allow us to build phase 3 and give us a year, then we could give you real projections. I cannot give you projections on a project that isn't completed yet, because the way we fund the O&M is through the completion of the project that you're not letting me build before you ask me to give you a number to then come back and tell me that the number is false.
So right now, we're at $2.6 million, and that's in O&M, and whatever it takes to we're on the hook for completing the bill. So Yinka tells me that it's 117 with all the pass-throughs, but we are on the hook for another $20 million to complete construction. I'm saying okay to that. I'm okay with that. I'm not, because I keep saying it, I'm not trying to kill the Underline. I find value in it. I also find value in people actually, like, when did it be okay to just stop keeping your word? We do it too often in this county. I go to great lengths to keep my word all the time. If I say I'm going to do it, I try to do it. And if I can't do it, I come back to you and I say, hey, listen, I tried, this is how I failed, let me make it up to you. They came to us, they asked for one thing, and now it's a lot more. Okay, we agreed to the lot more by doing it. So if it's $20 million, it takes you a year to operate, I trust you. Build it, plus a year, and then let's be out.
I'm saying come back with a plan. I mean, I got to come back with a plan, because they got to run it a year in its full capacity in order to come back with a plan and tell you. Because I don't know. We've created things for the Underline that no one has done. None of our parks have done. I mean, we're doing things that are different, and we have to see how that plays out.
Well, it's easy to do things that are different when someone else is paying for it.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, but you
No, it
always
took us
have
2 years to amend the advertising rules because we don't opt out of Lady Bird. 2 years. 2 years it took me to do that.
That was an absurdly long time. I agree with that, and I agree with you all opting out of it. I agree with that.
I didn't opt out. We worked around Lady Bird.
You all have the security.
I have an idea.
You have the security of trying new things that our parks don't because we're here. And we're going to catch it, and we're going to be the safety net no matter what, and we're going to pay for it no matter what.
That is not fair. Higgins and I are not those people. We go out of our way. We go out of our way.
And yet we've still spent a lot more than we promised. And all I'm
No.
asking for is for us to finish it. Just give us a timeline and let us finish.
So-
and I know this is going to make me like unpopular on the banquet circuit. I get it. I need you all to get that I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. I want us to figure this out. And I'll bring this up every meeting until Jesus comes if I have to.
Whoa.
I'm tired of people not answering my question on this because it's not popular for me to talk about it. I'm tired.
Okay, so
So
I
fix
haven't,
it.
I have a, I'm just going to toss this out there. So Commissioner Gilbert, it's clear we need to build this and we need to get some operating experience, but I believe there should be an opportunity as we're nearing completion to present that plan, which we believe is mid-2026, correct? Which would basically be even before we come into next year's budget. So why don't we, we can do it by motion. I'm happy to make the motion that there'll be an interim report as the construction's closed out, phase one, and then there'll be another one after. Or do you have a different suggestion? But we have to make a motion and make sure that Commissioner Gilbert is satisfied.
I'm saying we need a year of operating in order to be able to say what the plan is. We can start working on a plan, but we need a full year of operating.
That's summer
to come
of
up
27.
So
Yes.
by summer 2027, you will have a full operating plan
That's summer of 27.
presented, I guess, in time for the mayor to consider it for the budget. So that would be June of 2027. Does that satisfy everyone? I'm going to move something like that. Can you all just make it legal? Put some legalese around it. Okay, are we allowed to make motions like that at this meeting, or do we?
All right, Madam Attorney.
Euless, are you okay with that?
It would be a directive?
A directive.
A directive to the administration to work?
That's our directive.
The answer is yes, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
okay,
Just
so
want to make
that's
sure
the-
Euless is on board. He's going to be doing the work.
Okay, so that's the directive. So
Okay.
is that okay with?
That's all,
Okay.
4 years.
All right, so,
There's a motion on the remainder of H.
well, no, let's do this little thing first.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, can we do
We
this
want to
now?
satisfy.
It's just a separate motion.
Madam
Separate motion to
this.
get this.
Madam Attorney, can we
Plan.
do this now?
Yes, it would be a directive to the administration to work with the Underline to come back in the summer of 2027 with a plan for termination of existing subsidies or
Separation.
Yeah. Well, whatever the plan would be, which be whether it's a request for existing, which we could approve or disapprove,
It would just
Whatever
be
the
a
plan.
future plan for the
Future operating
operation of the Underline.
future operating plan.
Future operating plan. We'll figure
Okay.
out what that is.
Future operating plan.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna ask us for some more money?
They might not. They're getting your
know,
gist, Commish, so.
Well,
You're just commissioned. Little gist? What is it?
You know
What'd you
what?
say it was again?
Oliver Gilbert, it is
Commissioner-
4:30 in the
Commissioner-
morning, and I'm about to amend the item to include that you have to buy Underline green and come with Higgins and I.
I listen, because it's you two, I'm gonna say, okay.
Okay, so that's.
You know that the work will
So
be done.
reasonable.
You will
Commissioner
actually do.
Gilbert.
We will
I
do
have
the work.
Every faith and confidence that both of you will actually do the work. And I'm sorry that it took me this to get this answer. And let me just say, y'all, this ain't how it's supposed to be. We ain't supposed to ask questions and
I just want
not
to
be
say
able to get
Pinecrest
information. That ain't
Bakery
how it's
is
supposed to
open
be, y'all.
24 hours, and I think the chair should order us some coffee and some pastelitos because we
Oh,
still
no,
got-
because we're.
I've got
we're
IHOP
gonna-
pancakes on the way.
We're gonna vote
Alright.
on this, and
The
I'm moving.
administration's paying for it though.
They don't have any money.
All right.
Because we just spent it, all right?
Okay.
All right, there's a motion by Commissioner Higgins directing the administration for everything Jerry said. There's a
Second.
second by Commissioner Regalado. All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. So the
Anyone-
motion passed. Commissioner
Anyone interested in me moving item H?
Commissioner Higgins moves
Second.
the remainder of item H. It is
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Regalado. Any further discussion, amendments, and/or bifurcations of item H? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll on our last item of this year's first budget meeting.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Cohen Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert.
Yes, and thank you.
Vice Chairman McGee.
Vice Chairman McGee?
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote no.
Motion passes 8-4.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you for everyone that hung in. Appreciate you guys. See you soon. Have a good morning, guys.
That since we're going down the role of not assigning things in this charter to constitutional officers, because that generally wouldn't be allowed by Amendment 10, that should at least be revised to clerk of the board, where the county commission could assign duties and then